we'll pick up where we started with the insiders, and that's the 49ers beating the Atlanta Falcons yesterday, 20-10. They're 5-2 despite everything that has happened here through the first 7 weeks of this season. This team sits at 5-2, and the number one thing that stands out to me, man, is George Kittle returns and Christian McCaffrey looks unstoppable out of the backfield.
Man, it was crazy to see. Is George Kittle that vital to the run game?
Man,
where they just look like a completely different group on that offensive line, and Christian McCaffrey looks like his old self again. It was maybe he is. One of the things I thought about during the game is I wonder if George Kittle being there, he's the best blocking tight end or out of the guys who receive still, but he's the best in the game. And that'll help. But maybe just his presence, maybe some of the things he's able to do as far as communicating and being vocal and knowing other teams' defense, kind of in the way that Fred Warner was as a middle linebacker for that defense. Just been around the block, knows the personnel of other teams, knows the coaching style of other teams. And I wonder if that alone could be something that offensive line and those tight ends were missing, and they had him back. And he just uplifts everybody with his mere presence out there and his knowledge, his IQ of everything that's going on before we even get to his talent.
He looked a lot like Christian McCaffrey. So I think this is to maybe accentuate the point that you just made a little bit, because Christian McCaffrey yesterday at times, like if you remember Le'Veon Bell, the word they used to describe Le'Veon Bell was patient. Like he would wait. Like it wouldn't just be, oh, Le'Veon Bell attacks, whatever gap, whatever they were doing. It was just, he'd get the ball, and even though it's quick, he'd survey everything and see it. It felt like Christian McCaffrey was doing that at times yesterday. And I'm not saying he was waiting for Kittle's block or running behind George Kittle every time or waiting for George to do something. What I'm saying is he looked like he had a different level of patience knowing George Kittle was on the field. And you go back and you watch some of those runs, particularly, even they didn't get any points out of it. I thought their first drive.
Yeah, they was cooking.
Their first drive was incredible.
That game should have been 10-0.
It probably should have. And he being Christian McCaffrey again, he just looked almost relaxed that George Kittle was out there, and it caused him to be a more patient runner. I didn't watch 50 plays from the last 6 weeks, but I watched a handful from last week and a handful from the week before, and you see just Kittle ball, boom, McCaffrey ball, boom, McCaffrey ball, boom. Go back and watch some of the film from yesterday. McCaffrey, hold, go. McCaffrey, go. And I was like, oh, man, that's really – Le'Veon Bell was the first runner that I watched do that at that level. Christian McCaffrey did it so amazingly yesterday.
Well, check this out. To that point, it really felt like Christian McCaffrey because of George Kittle's help, but also the offensive line just did really well on their own. He was able to get the handoff, hit the hole, and go. It was able to go.
Hit the.
As opposed to get the handoff. Oh, somebody's in the backfield. Let me get their hand off of them, and then let me start back up and get. At that point, they got you at 2-3 yards. Last year, he's able to see the opening and full speed. There was no stop in between. There might have been a jump cut or something like that, but there wasn't any halt in his momentum once he got the handoff and started to go. And I think George Kittle had a lot to do with that. I think that offensive line, maybe for whatever reason, was extra motivated to play at a higher level than they have been previously. And yeah, they dominated on the ground like we were used to seeing from a Kyle Shanahan team.
Yeah, they ran that defense ragged. which is good because I wonder, we brought this up a little bit last week. I asked, like, because I thought this was early last week, because I misread the practice situation that was going on. I thought Brock Purdy was returning. When Brock Purdy was limited on Wednesday, I thought for sure that meant he was going to be a full participant Thursday and they were going to be off and running. Obviously, that wasn't the case. He winds up not playing. But I did wonder if maybe now is, like, Mac Jones is a good quarterback. He's shown us that. But also, like, he is a backup quarterback. And maybe, even under Kyle Shanahan, there's kind of a point where you just have done what you can do. The surprise has worn off, the newness has worn off, and maybe just things start to level out at a different rate than it was when you started, when it was like, oh man, look at what Mac Jones is doing. Oh, and then remember, Brock comes back and then he's back out there again. It said the two most amazing things that have happened, or the most amazing thing this season, is Brock Purdy has had two different stints of being on the injured list, and Mac Jones has had two different stints as the starting quarterback. I feel like it's time for I feel like they need Brock Purdy back. Like, maybe Mac has kind of done what he can for you, and you've got some things going now, perhaps with Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle together, or just George Kittle being back, because again, he only played a half of football so far this year. You got, that defense under, they're in great shape with Robert Saleh over there, and every person who has stepped into every role that they've been asked to play. Maybe the final piece is, like, yeah, Mac has been good. He's been really good. Maybe the final piece is to have Brock Purdy back.
Yeah, when you can get Brock Purdy back 100%, like, there's no debate, there's no question. Like, there's no controversy. He's a better quarterback than Mac Jones, who has played really well in his time. But like you said, you get about a 3-4 week runway before you see why Brock was the starter or something like that. And Mac didn't play bad last night or anything, but he has his limitations. He's also not very healthy. So you got to factor that. But I will say this, if they're able to, if this isn't an admiration and this is just kind of what they're going to look like going forward, potentially running the football, that may add more weeks on to how long you can play Mac Jones. Because if you're able to game plan and to a certain degree hide his deficiencies with a consistent run game, that might buy you another week or two, which is what you might need to get Brock Purdy back on the field anyway, and to be able to win and play at a high level. So them being able to run the football the way they did last night might buy Kyle a little bit more time to not necessarily have to face what you're talking about, because it does feel like it's on the horizon. But we can buy a week or two if that's who they are as a running team nowadays, which you didn't see that the first 6-7 weeks of the season. So it was like, yeah, this is run its course. It's like, it's not going to happen because we can't run. We need something a little bit more dynamic under center, and it needs to happen fast. But if you're able to run to the clip of, I forgot what it was, it might have been about 5 yards a carry.
For Christian McCaffrey, I think it was 5.3, because I think he was like 5.3 and maybe 10.8 in the air. He did have 201 total scrimmage yards.
It's time. It's time. We kind of talked about it a little bit a couple of weeks ago. I know the reality of it. Quarterbacks win, all this other stuff. This is an MVP season that's forming right now. I wish I would have kept the
for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's projected at like 1,200 yards receiving. I want to say maybe 1,030 something yards rushing. We did the outlook on that 2 weeks ago. It's only happened 4 times, I think, in the history of the game.
He did it.
Yeah. 1,000-yard receiving, 1,000-yard rushing season. And Niners there's a lot of football left to be played, but if they're the NFC West division winner, and possibly a 1 or 2 seed. Yeah, like this might be the year an MVP goes to a guy like that. At the very least, he should be top 5.
You know what the excuse me, the consolation always is for a season like that.
Was it Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah.
That was Saquon won last year. He won Offensive Player of the Year.
Saquon. Yeah, Josh Allen was MVP. Lamar was second. Yeah, Saquon was. And did he have a 2,000-yard season, or was he just short?
I thought he had
2,000 on the ground, not 2,000.
Yeah, I thought he did get to 2,000.
Is 1,000 still a big number? Is it? Is 1,000 yards on the ground still a milestone number?
It is that we haven't gotten to the point where people start doing the math and saying, "Well, actually, it's not that impressive." We haven't gotten there yet. It's still
we're really close.
The number still holds the lore.
I think it does. I think it does. But it is different. Like it's different. And none of those guys that you referenced, including, man, I can't remember all of them. Eric Dickerson did it or no? Christian McCaffrey did it. Roger Craig did it.
None Marshall Faulk, I think, did
Marshall Faulk, okay. None of those guys won MVP. Right?
Right. Yeah. But he's been
incredible.
Fantastic this year.
And maybe the difference between this campaign and the one from a few years ago is you lost Kittle in 30 minutes. You lost Brock after 60 for a period of time. You lost again, you take this thing in its totality. You lost Nick Bosa. You lost Fred Warner. Those are like permanent injuries. You got the Jawan Jennings situation happening. Brandon Ayuk ain't stepped on the field yet.
He's too busy in Tempe at Arizona State.
Good for him.
Good for him.
He can stay there.
While Fred is literally still at the stadium.
That was the best. That was and I'm not often around when the game like is well over, but I was yesterday and caught the B-roll of the 49ers going into the locker room and Fred right there with his scooter. Just he dapped up every single player, coach, person in a 49ers hat that walked by him.
That's crazy too, because I love seeing that from Fred. I expect nothing different from Fred, but even I would have been like, bro, come back in 2 or 3 weeks, bro. You just damn near 6 days ago, you just had this angle looking the other way. We'll get the boost, from you in 3 weeks. But he was there. So that was dope to see. That was really dope to see, and I could imagine. Somebody had said he was like in the film rooms on Saturday.
I believe that
with those guys, man. So
he has not had the procedure yet, or has
he had?
He did have it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He, at least the one that I know of. I saw the picture of him.
Oh, yeah, he was in the yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see. Good to see Fred out there. Good to see those guys on the defense step up, and I wonder, we talked about it last week. I wonder if this was a game that they needed to get out there, play, get past it. Yeah. I think Trent was on SVP after the game, and he was just talking about, he was like, yeah, it's sad, we hate to see it, but the reality is this league don't stop. Yep. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
they're gonna try and beat us just as bad without Fred. So we gotta step up. We gotta be ready.
And what he was saying was, no one cares that we're hurt. No one's going to show sympathy to us because Fred Warner got hurt. No one's going to show sympathy to us because Brock Purdy or Nick Bosa or whoever is hurt. Yeah. He had a lot of post game duties yesterday. He had the NBC with Tatum and McCaffrey.
Yeah,
and then he had the SVP joint.
I didn't know. I found out yesterday that they do a post game show on Peacock. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
either.
George Kittle was on there. I think John Lynch was on there too. They were on there,
I
you know how
no
Amazon does their.
I've never watched the show I've never watched the game on Peacock before. I always watch it on.
Yeah, I guess maybe they tell you can switch to Peacock for more.
Well, I think now that you say that, he does say that, and I've never once done it.
Me neither. But they do the whole thing, like their set is out on the field, and just like the Amazon Prime. And Kittle was out there, and like I said, I think John Lynch was out there. George Lynch, 2001 Philadelphia 76er. Small forward.
It's really the weirdest thing about you, by far.
It was a great team.
Your incredible knowledge of that.
They did a doc on that team last year.
They did. I didn't watch it. I'm gonna watch the Allen Iverson one though. That's for sure. Yeah. We're just getting started, man. We're so happy that you're here with us. Jesse's back with us. We're in full force. We'll talk a little baseball. We got a game 7 tonight. And we've got some news coming out of Kings practice. Whew. We'll talk about it. Steelo and KC brought to you by Sky River Casino and Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. Get some of this. Man, Sac State kept showing up on my TikTok feed this weekend.
Oh man, yeah, it was a story.
Yeah, it was something.
I was right there.
It was something. Oh, Hammer's not there. Nobody have any video from today? Sean was working all night. Dennis Schroeder was a non-contact participant at Kings practice.
The interesting thing about that is there was a lot of people there. There was a lot of 20,000 plus. There was a lot of people, and they just didn't have a lot. Like the security that they had, they do a great job, but they were understaffed in that situation for that amount of people. But it was that, for me personally, what I saw. I don't know if anybody saw anything differently, but for me, it was that moment. It was that fight. It was fighting, man. You know what I mean? And it was a bad look. I hate to see it. I was sitting there shaking my head the entire time, like, this is ridiculous. Like, what are you guys doing, bro? This is crazy. But the kind of backlash that's happened since then is, I think, a little over the top. There are fights literally every week in the NFL at NFL games. I saw a fight at this Miami-Louisville game on Friday, this quote-unquote brawl. It happens every week. But because it gets attached to hip-hop, and let's just be real, it gets attached to black people who are fighting. Now Sac State is deemed unsafe potentially. And that's not fair. That's not fair at all. I literally see fights every weekend at football games. I don't know if they have anything to do with football or not, but yeah, that's unfortunate that's how it's being perceived. They need to step up, just get more security there in general for crowds like that, not because of violence, but just better crowd control. That's just a lot of people there, 20,000.
We're being honest. They wasn't really fighting. I saw from like 5 angles. Like, what are y'all doing?
We had all.
Y'all just threw a plastic trash can. Like, what did you think that was gonna do? Oh, get out of here.
One of the guys had like a puff jacket on, and it got popped, and he was running away. And the trail was you just follow the feathers that were.
Follow the drip. That jerk you got on your head, you better not never commit no crime. Follow the feather. That was Leezy said it was promotion for Raw tonight.
WWE came early.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hell of a night though. It was electric out there that night. Glad they won. That would have been a problem.
Came through on Sunday. It was like, yeah, man, it was crazy. And it wasn't more than 20 minutes later before I look at TikTok. I was like, oh. No. All right, let's get to the Elk Grove Kia Talk line. We've got some things to talk about here today, including a really interesting note from practice, King's practice, that is. Let's start with our man Daniel, though, here on the Elk Grove Kia Talk line, 916-909-1320. Daniel, what's good, baby?
What's going on?
How you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Hey, watching that game last night, the run game got a lot better after Brendel went down. I think he's so bad that he's out. You got somebody who's halfway competent. I think you're going to see a better run game. Also with CMC, that kind of they use him way too much. I know they have to. They're not going to be able to carry that through the whole season. They got to bring in Garendo. They got to give some more. They just got to take it off of CMC and give him a little bit of a rest, because I don't think he's going to last the whole season if he plays this much.
So a couple of things. He said when Brenda went out. Is that what he said at the beginning? Yeah, I disagree with the usage thing. Like, Christian McCaffrey could get hurt in preseason. He could get hurt after, 1,000. People have said the same thing about Derrick Henry. Yeah. People thought Nick Saban was running Derrick Henry into the ground. I was one of them. We thought he was running Derrick Henry into the ground because he ain't going to be able to use him next year. So what's he care? Derrick Henry's had a Hall of Fame career being a high usage player. Obviously it's a little bit different now, but, most of his career, he was a high usage player. I know the 49ers are asking a lot of Christian McCaffrey. I don't think that's gonna. I don't think we're stealing minutes from a late regular season game or whatever,
right?
Because he's catching a couple of extra passes. I mean, I think what was it, 17 on the ground yesterday?
24 carries on the ground.
Okay, so didn't even watch the game. Didn't even see it. Because he had the 5.4. Sorry,
I'm not trying to Tennessee Titans this thing or the Cowboys with DeMarco Murray this thing.
Oh man!
But like, this is it. Like, this is McCaffrey's opportunity. I believe one of his last opportunities to be that type of running back, to be top flight like that. I think he's got 1 or 2 more years of being able to be this type of MVP caliber type player. And the Niners kind of are looking around, and this is, who knows how this, you might have opportunity to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't the time for no pitch clock. This is not the time for no pitch clock. And I'm not saying run him into the ground, but I also wouldn't let that play a factor in my play calling if I was Kyle Shanahan, or my game planning. One thing they were able to do yesterday, which is better than in the weeks prior, is they were able to get 9 carries in there for Brian Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get 9 to 11 Brian Robinson carries, that's a good sign, because that means he's probably running the ball effectively where you feel good enough putting him in there. And Christian McCaffrey's getting a little bit more rest. But for the most part, this is go time. Like, this is it. This season, you might have a chance to do some things. And yeah, in a perfect world, you'd have somebody that when you could take McCaffrey out, because right when McCaffrey comes out, we're bringing somebody in that is the same caliber of runner, receiver, threat, all this other stuff. But it's not where you're at.
Yeah, and as you point out, this team can get some things done this year. Like this, there's through 7 weeks, or it'll be through 7 weeks after tonight. there's no like, whoo, look at them. Like the 6-1 Colts, people are like, wait, is this for real? It's not like, oh my God, look at this. This is incredible. It's like, nah, we're all just kind of waiting. I think that's a really good football team. But we're all just kind of waiting. We saw the Packers tie. We saw Buffalo lose last week. We saw the Lions lose last week. We saw the Eagles lose a couple in a row. There's no, look at them. The look at them team might be Kansas City, who all of a sudden is starting to look like a Patrick Mahomes-led team, and they're the defending champions. They obviously have the pedigree of the last, what are we up to, 3, 4, you go back beyond that, the last 5 or 6 years now, under their belt, and you start to wonder, man, is this, what are they, 4-3 now? Are they the most dangerous team in the NFL? And so it's right there for San Francisco. And if that means Christian McCaffrey has to run the ball 20-plus times and catch the ball 10 times, then yeah, that's what he's got to do. Go ahead.
You know, this will go in because you said if we weren't going to get to it, we probably Shohei Ohtani is a one of one.
Oh my God.
I've never seen anybody do what he does out there. That game 4 performance, one of the greatest sporting performances ever. Just out of this world. When he hit the 3rd home run, I just wasn't watching, but I got the notification. He hit another one. The second one was a bomb.
Oh my God.
I saw that somebody's had the video of somebody in the outfield out there, like in the stands, and just watching it go over their head, over the pavilion was insane. He's not the best player to ever play the game. He's not. He may end up being that.
So,
but
can I stop you right on that point?
Yeah.
He's 8 years into his career. We don't have to have this discussion today.
Yeah.
Like proclaiming someone is the greatest to ever do what they did 8 years into their career in a game where people regularly play like 20. It's a bit too much. And I know we love hyperbole and we love 24/7 sports talk and we love the we've never seen this before, which that's true. We have never, ever seen what Shohei Ohtani is doing before, ever. But it doesn't have to equate to the greatest that we've ever seen to do.
Oh. Isn't it kind of warranted, though? At least the conversation. I mean,
he's doing things we've never
seen.
Like he's gonna win his 4th MVP.
So, yeah, it's the Patrick Mahomes thing. People really do want to believe that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest to ever do it. He's not. He's not. But what was the next line you said? He might wind up being Patrick Mahomes may very well wind up being the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. Today, right now, and this is just pure hyperbole because all those people who say Patrick Mahomes is the greatest we've ever seen, all the people who say Shohei Ohtani, he's the greatest we've ever seen, if their respective careers ended right now, you would not say that.
Right.
You'd be like, no, it was Brady. Like we thought De'Aaron Fox, in a much smaller scale, we thought De'Aaron Fox was going to be the greatest king ever. He's gone. He is not. He did not surpass Chris. He's not.
I think the difference between Mahomes, though, and Ohtani is that Ohtani's doing it like as a pitcher and as a hitter. Mahomes, like that's just one quarterback or whatever. Like Ohtani's doing stuff like you said, we haven't seen.
We've
might never be hyperbole, but it's like no one else is gonna do this after Ohtani. Like no one's gonna throw 6 scoreless 10 Ks or whatever. Like it's kind of, I feel like just the way he's doing it as a pitcher and as a hitter, like now it's kind of warranted because it's different.
For sure, it's incredibly unique. It is a one of one. It's these are like tales of what they try to convince us Babe Ruth was.
Yeah.
And it's unlike anything we've ever seen. And to your point, Jesse, it's probably unlike anything we will ever see. I did see Barry Bonds win like 7 MVPs. Like I don't know. Like I watched him play too, and I know it's different. This is closer to the Mahomes Brady argument because it's a hitter. It's a baseball player. Shohei is just incredibly unique, and what he does is that it's the level in which he does it is crazy, and he could wind up the best to ever do it. But 8 years into his career, I don't believe that he is.
Shohei Ohtani in his 8-year career
Mm-hmm.
has been walked 541 times. Barry Bonds was walked 872 times in a 4-year span.
Mm-hmm.
He lost 872 at bats in 4 years and still has better numbers than Ohtani at the plate.
So more than just at the plate, though.
So
that once again, he's
like with Bonds. We talk one thing and stuff like that. Like,
so hold on,
he's like a 9-time Gold Glover. He's one of the best left fielders of his era. He was the only, and once again, Shohei may get there, the only member of the 500 club, one of the best base runners, base stealers the game has ever seen.
So when you say his numbers are better than Ohtani, you're measuring the first 8 years of Barry Bonds' career?
No, I'm just measuring that time when he was walked 800 times.
Oh, so you just were selective in where you picked the numbers?
No, I
think the most accurate measurement would be Shohei's first 8 against Barry's first 8.
That's fine. Shohei has never, the most time he's been walked in a season is 109 this past time.
Okay.
Barry Bonds in a 4-year span was 117. This is just walks.
I got you.
117, 177, 198, 148, 232. He was walked 232 times in a season.
Okay.
And still, that means what that means is over the course of a week in the MLB season, you might see 5 pitches to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't miss ever in that span, ever. Over the course of a week, you're going up to the plate 3 times a night, you're playing 6 times in a week, you'll see 5 pitches that are hittable. And he still had the numbers he had.
Mm-hmm.
That's different.
Well,
Shohei different too, but that's different.
We didn't pay for the we didn't pay the $10.
This is where to
get the comp.
This is where the numbers watching goes to die.
Yeah, so I so and this is where the again I don't agree that you say a player who's played 8 incredible years is the greatest to ever play this game, but it's, you know, if we had been given the $10 to buy the Baseball Reference Pro Edition, you know, we would have been able to break down Ohtani's in Barry's totals, you know, their sabermetric stuff, their win probability. But if I'm making a case for Shohei, once I get to the bottom of this page where it starts comparing Shohei Ohtani versus Barry Bonds, the pitchers, there's no second name. There's no second name on this comp, right? Like, I mean, it's
Ohtani's
just
got him beating MVPs his first 8 to Barry's. I mean, it's gonna be 4-3.
So to me, those are the numbers. Like, if you really wanted to break this down and do something with it, those are the numbers that are compelling to me. What did Barry do in the first 8 years of his career versus what did Shohei do in the first 8 years of his career? And you mentioned he's going to top him in MVP numbers. And
OPS is just as good.
Now, I was going to say, just to be
batting
clear,
average is not even close.
When you look at the first 8 years,
when
you look at the first 8 years of Barry's career, and you look at we talk about the leading the league, the bold black. There's bold all over Barry's first 8 years. Like, he did not come to life in San Francisco. He was him when he got to San Francisco. But it's the same thing over on Shohei's page.
100%. Shohei is amazing. This conversation I don't even like because it takes away from either one of these guys who are. I ain't seen nothing like neither one of these guys. I have not seen anything like Shohei Ohtani. So I don't want to take away from him at all because he's amazing. That performance that he had on Friday that we started talking about, that's just crazy. As somebody that obviously hates the Dodgers and wants to see them, I was left in amazement seeing the numbers and then the actual home runs, the moments
Yeah.
of taking them, bringing them home. I was just like, this guy.
And that stadium knew it.
Oh my gosh. I was
Yeah,
like,
they
this
knew it.
is unreal what he's doing. So I don't want to take away from Shohei at all because he's amazing. He's a one of one. He's absolutely a one of one.
Well, you're a liar because you started this whole thing by taking away from him.
Well, no, he's just not the best player to ever play. Like you said, he might end up being there, but he's not there today.
Well, I didn't say that. You said that. He might, and you were right. He might end up being there, but
today he's not there.
Barry played in dummy. I just closed the tab. Barry, what he play? 17 seasons?
Sounds about right.
I have that. I just had it open and closed it because I'm
22
years.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah, 22 seasons.
22 is 42.
22 seasons. Shohei's 8 in. Like there's it's Tom Brady played 20. He played till he was 42 years old, 43, 44, something like that.
What if Mahomes was lining up though at safety too and lighting everyone up that way as well?
Oh yeah, that'd be different.
Be amazing.
Yeah, that's the difference. Though,
but
the fact that his career is half as long doesn't matter to you.
Right now, it doesn't because he's pitching. He's got 4 MVPs in his first 8 years. He had he's rookie of the year his first season. So like the dude has just been the best player since he's got here.
But that's the Mahomes thing isn't exactly accurate though, because like Mahomes lined up his safety. He playing every play. I'm not taking away from the pitching, but he don't play. He does that once a week.
Well, just like I guess credit whatever scenario, but the point is that you can't like Mahomes just plays the same position that Brady does. If Ohtani was just playing left field and hitting, then yeah, Barry's far and away the best player. But I like find something else for Mahomes to do. I guess like that's what Ohtani's doing.
What this is kind of like, and it's not even like this because Ohtani's so much better than anybody I'm about to name. But it's almost like once again, Ohtani's so much better. But it's like Odell Beckham, the first 4 years of his career, and how they used to be like he's on pace to break all of Rice's records.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he's on pace, and Odell to a certain degree.
Josh Gordon was too.
Right. To a certain degree, Odell was like one of the best receivers I had ever seen at the beginning of his career. Mm-hmm. But over time, things happened where he wasn't able to get there. I once again, Ohtani is so much better than Odell Beckham Jr. or any receiver. But Bonds, his numbers and accomplishments, he got a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Barry's gonna have the numbers, but I think for me, I guess, and other people who think Ohtani's the best, you're just kind of taking what's just kind of happening right now. Like Ohtani's not probably ever gonna reach Barry's numbers or anything like that. But also, I've never seen Barry Bonds go what he did in Game 4 or whatever it was. Like 3 home runs, 6 scoreless, 10 Ks. Like
nobody do that.
Just
you,
I guess putting the moment up more than the stats.
Nah, I got you. Barry. Wow. Barry won his last MVP at 39 years old. He was 39 and won the MVP.
He was robbed of like 4 others too.
He won 4 straight.
I think in 92, Terry Pendleton got it. That should have been Bonds. In 2000,
he won it in 92. You might be thinking of 91.
91.
He because he won in 90. He finished second in 92. This man, this dude almost had 2 4-peats as the MVP.
That's crazy.
Not to mention the year before he won it, in 2001, he finished second in 2000.
I think that's the year Jeff.
The 2000
won one of those years, and that should have been Bonds.
The 2001 year ran off. It started the streak of 4. He finished second in the year before that streak started. That's crazy.
Shohei, I will say this though, Jesse. I will say this. He ended the debate that that was who's the best player today. That performance was crazy on Friday. I could not believe that was going down. That was crazy. when he hit that third one, I just shook my head. I said, man, I'm done with baseball, bro. I got to see this guy for another team.
Yeah, man, the president of Sac State University. I mean, Dr. Luke Wood. First of all, Dr. Wood, stingers up.
Stingers up.
I missed the old haircut, man. That was such like a signature. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh man, someone AI'd Dr. Wood.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, we let it go. But that was such a
it was hot this summer. It was hot.
I understood.
Man, I was like, bam. And then, I immediately regretted it. So I'm going to end up growing it back out. But let's just say it don't grow like it used to.
Yeah. That's kind of the fear of like, once you make that cut, it's like you kind of just have to hope for the best.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to hope for the best.
Lineup looking clean. No, lineup looking real clean.
My barber's been on it. He's been on it.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted. I'll tell Dr. Wood the story about how I was confused for him in a Rockland Park some other day.
Oh,
yeah. That was a moment. I was so excited, Dr. Wood. I was like, oh,
hey, that's a compliment to me. All right, cool.
No, okay, no, because man, we've been doing this 5 years, and the brother was like, it was in Rockland, so you run into black people in Rockland, you speak to each other, right? And it was hey, oh man, I know you. I was like, oh man, appreciate it. You're the president of Sac State, right? I was like, oh,
come on.
Nah, that's my man, Dr. Wood. But
that's cool. That's cool.
I'll take it. Hey, let's talk.
All right, let's talk.
We got Montana Friday.
Yes, we do.
And their coach he's talking.
Oh, is he?
He's talking. He has some things to say about the university. So let's get into that, man. I know you had some fun talking about Montana on the broadcast a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And I believe what'd he say, Casey? Dr. Wood, I think you need to worry more about the riot that was going on at Sac State this past weekend. And Kenny and I had the same exact reaction when we heard that comment. We're curious what yours is.
I haven't heard his comments because I don't even know who he is. Now, of course, I know that he's the coach of their team. Of course, I know what they've done on the field. But in terms of his comments, it is what it is. It's gameplay. And, Sac State is getting ready to play the Montana Grizzlies. I think what made them mad, if I'm being honest, is because I accidentally said that they were the Pandas. But if you've ever looked at their mascot, it actually looks more like a panda than like a grizzly. So my incredible apologies out there to all the pandas in the world. But I'll say this, it's there's been a lot of interest in the game. All of our fans are jokingly calling this the Panda Bowl, so I'm embracing that.
There you go.
And but this is not the first time that we played in the Panda Bowl. We played Montana 4 times in the last 5 years, and we beat them 3 out of 4 times. We went to the conference championship and won the conference championship three out of the last 5 years. They've won it once. So it's okay for us to be confident in what our team does. Like we just had an amazing win this last weekend. We had an amazing win the weekend before that. Sac State is on the roll. And, you just got to remember one thing about me. I am certainly the president of Sacramento State, but I'm a 2-time alum. I'm a fan. And what kind of a person would I be as a 2-time alum and president of the university if I didn't believe in my own team, if I didn't believe in my own school, if I didn't believe in my own community? So, we're going to be proud of what our team is bringing. And, we're looking forward to beating Montana in the Panda Bowl.
Yeah, here are the little sweeties right here on the screen. You just see these little
adorable.
These little, look at the little sweetheart down here. Look at that.
See that? Look at the nose. That looks
cute.
more panda than grizzly. From Apex
adorable.
Predator to Apex Lounger.
The 4-year-old would want to hug the little panda.
Yeah.
Little panda.
Yeah. That's sweet. That's sweet.
Hey, so all right.
Yeah,
Dr. Wood, man, I loved the interview, and I think it was at halftime of that game. I thought it was hilarious. like I said on Twitter, it's sports, man. Let's have fun. Let's
Yeah.
have a good time with it.
It's
It's
just
not,
fun.
It's not that big of a deal. But I will say this. It feels like Montana has rubbed you the wrong way. And you kind of you feel some type of way about Montana and maybe the way that they've gone about talking about the school, talking about you, talking about the football program. Is that accurate, or is it just really like, hey, I'm just having a good time? But it feels like Montana specifically has kind of rubbed you the wrong way.
First of all, I have no concerns with Montana. Let me begin by saying I love their president. I think he's an amazing human being, amazing leader. I think they've got a great AD. They've got a great team. And I have nothing but respect for them. That being said, when I said that, they have had a relatively easier schedule this year, that's a statement of fact, right? And that's no diss to them. They are a great team, but let's just be real. Our first game was against South Dakota State, the number 2 team in the country. Their first game was against Central Washington, which, no disrespect to them, but they're a D2 school, right? So we have been playing up, and that's not, the same thing that everybody else is doing. Then when you look at the second game that we played an FBS program. And so, we have played high-ranked FCS programs. We played FBS schools, and our effort is to play up. And we certainly, when I look at their schedule, yes, they played Idaho, but Idaho is no longer ranked. And so they haven't really had their mettle tested against a team that is of our caliber and on the role that we're on. So I certainly believe, as a fan of Sacramento State, as an alum, that my team will reign victorious. But it's also, there's some objective stats out there. We're beating them in scoring offense, total offense, rushing first downs, third down conversions, fourth down conversions, sacks. We're leading FCS in sacks. So there's certainly a lot to be said that we're just a strong team this year. And so, we're gonna see what happens on Friday night, but I have every confidence that we'll be talking about how the Hornets yet again won the Panda Bowl.
Here's my issue, Dr. Wood.
Yeah.
With the Montana coach is you guys have done an amazing job of bringing acts like Lil Yachty. Quavo is going to be there this Friday. That's a big deal for people like me and KC. That's a big deal for our audiences over on KSFM, the hip hop station that we're on. And we saw the little issue that happened just before halftime at the Sac State game, which was really, I don't want to call it nothing, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. But in the era of everything being recorded, it makes its way onto social media. It circulates on these different apps. And to me, and I think I can safely say to us, there were a lot of racial undertones to what that coach said. And I think that's what really bothered us, is like, hey, look, you could get your jokes off about the Hornets or about the mascot. You do whatever you would. Don't do that though. Like, don't do that. That's different. And that had a stench to it that I don't think either one of us appreciated.
Yeah, that's why I'm being careful with my response. Here's the thing. I'm talking about the game. He's talking about names. It's cool. We're just different people. But here's the thing. What he really needs to be more worried about is the fact that, I'm worried about whether or not there's going to be good attendance, because Montana's not traveling well this season. They played one away game. Only 7,600 people showed up to that away game, including the home team. So it's not an indication that, Montana is traveling well. So they should probably be worried about that. They should probably be worried about whether or not fans are tuning into the games, because this isn't the first game they've had on ESPN this season. And so as we look to our future, we're going to focus on what's happening with attendance, how we're putting on amazing events that include post-game activities like fireworks and concerts for the students. And we're going to focus on what we're doing on the field. So objectively, we've won the conference championship 3 out of the last 5 years. They've done it once. So I think that they have just as much to prove as we do. And again, we've had a tougher schedule this season so far. So, let's see who's the better team on the field.
Yeah, to echo what Damian said as well. You were having fun with the interview. Like I said, it was sports.
Yep.
It was fun. And he got personal. And I didn't appreciate it. I'm not even saying, oh, it's personal. No, I'm just literally saying I did not appreciate that. Like that was not okay. There was, in my opinion, what I heard, there was coded language in there. I didn't like it. I was there at the game. There was 20,000 people. There was a lot of people out there for sure. You had that one incident. Outside of that, it was a great night. It was a great night. The vibes were up. It was a great game. People were into the game. They were excited about seeing Lil Yachty. It wasn't this unsafe, riot-filled place that he tried to make it out, and others in that fan base and in that media spaces tried to make it out to be. And the only reason I feel like they're having that type of outlook on it, number one, they take it personal, that people aren't really geared up to go see Montana or anything like that. Also,
they took it personal. Dr. Wood called it what, like he saw it. Like, look at the cute little mascot.
How adorable. But they took it personal with that, and they took it personal and took it somewhere and used the fact that we had a lot of black students at the game, a lot of black people at the game, headlined by a hip hop act, and tried to turn that into something that was coded, in my opinion. And like I said, Damien said the same thing. I didn't appreciate that. That was not cool, because you've done a lot to trying to change the atmosphere around this university and really around the city, and all in the nature of giving students and people in this community a different experience that other people have all over the country. And for him and others to take it somewhere else, I didn't like that.
Well, you know, I got to tell you what I'm really thinking about this, right? So certainly I felt like it was coded, right? And at the same time, I'm not surprised, right? We're in the whole national landscape is a culture war between those who embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion, and those that don't. And the juxtaposition of this game, this is bigger than football, right? But what's going to be happening in this game? You've got California, which is a state that's leading in providing ethnic studies to every student in high school, community college, and at the university level, that's advancing diversity, equity, inclusion in terms of its efforts to support minoritized students against people coming from a state that's doing the exact opposite. And so I think what we're really going to see is not just a game of football, which it should just really be about football, but now it's a larger cultural conversation about, like, what is the best value system? And I certainly believe that every single one of my students, no matter what background they come from, that they are the priority. So we are a Black serving institution. We're proud of that. We're an Hispanic serving institution. We're proud of that. We're an Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institution. We're proud of that. So we're serving our community, and we'll be serving it up on Friday night.
Let's get it.
That makes people uncomfortable. It always will.
Yeah.
It always will. You've made football games experiences, man. It's been pretty amazing to see, like, the social media impact that the Sac State football games have had over the first handful of weeks of this season. Man, what's it going to be like when basketball season gets here and Mike Bibby's on that sideline? And I'm sure the stands are flooded with A-list attendees for that one. Not just Kenny, but a whole list of A-list people. What's that going to be like?
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. I mean, let's just be real, especially with us moving into the new facility, playing in the Well, which is a very nice venue on our campus. We are going to have one of the best basketball seasons that we've ever had, and that's for men's basketball and for women's basketball. You know, I've been very bold in saying I believe that women's basketball is going to go to March Madness this year. I believe that men's basketball has a chance to be able to do that as well with the coaching staff we have in place, with the players that we have in place. So, you know, I think that there should be a lot of excitement. And I'll tell people the tickets are flying. So you should get your tickets too, because if you want to be able to come in and see the experience, remember, we're a smaller venue than Golden One. So it's basically, you know, spots for about 3,000 people. So you want to try to get them tickets now because it's going to be special. It's going to be special. Look at the team that has been assembled. We ain't ever seen nothing like this before in Sacramento. Never before. And so I want to make sure that people realize that we're doing all this. We're building up football. We're building up basketball, men's and women's. We're building up track and field. We're building up, I mean, beyond sports, our arts programs, our music program. We're building up everything because we believe that we should be the alternative. When people are looking at going out of state to attend an institution that costs double. Why not come on to Sacramento State, where you're not just going to be a number on the sheet, but you're going to be an actual person who we invest in as a community and as a future.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Coach, or excuse me, Dr. Luke Wood, you could be.
Oh, no, I prefer that.
Oh, you could be. You know, we can't talk to you without just trying to get an update on everything that's going on at Sac State as far as the attempts to get to FBS, stadium talk. Like, what's going on that you could tell us about both of those situations?
Stadium is moving forward just as planned. We've got a lot of things we're working on behind the scenes. I would say that, you know, we will certainly be playing in an elevated stadium in the near future. And we're working on that. As you know, our plan is to go to Cal Expo, and we have been looking at that horse racing grandstand. We've just got back some new assessments on that, which is helping us, you know, plan in terms of how we would use our resources and budget to address that. So very excited about that. And then in terms of FBS, we'll be playing an FBS schedule next season. In terms of what that looks like and what that means, I'm going to hold on saying anything until we're ready to do so. But, you know, circling back to Montana, even when we eventually, because we're going to eventually move up to FBS, right? Whether it happens this next season and season after that, whatever, we're going to move up to FBS. When that happens, we'll have no problem playing down and being able to play Montana, because we want to make sure that we continue the Panda Bowl.
Well, it's an important tradition. So, we keep the Panda Bowl going.
I mean, they played down this year. Why can't we?
That's my boy, Dr. Luke Wood. He's talking that talk. I love that.
Yeah, but let me circle back to one thing though. I don't, and this is, you know, all jokes aside, we got to do a better job in this community of just giving homage to the fact that we have an amazing coach for football, Brendan Marion, right? A stellar offensive mind, and we've now really gotten in these past couple of games to see what the go-go offense truly looks like. But not only is he a brilliant mind on the field, he's an amazing human being off the field. He's a man of God. He's a leader. He's a motivator. He's a mentor. He's a player's coach. He's a class act. And so as we are embracing the diversity of students within our campus community, I can't imagine us having a better representative in terms of our value system out there than Brendan Marion.
100%.
I agree. They call Sac State's new HBCU
well,
here.
Hey, man, you see that parking lot? On Saturday?
Hey, that parking lot. Listen,
I thought I was at Jackson State real quick. We talking about Sac State. I said, "Oh, okay, that's what we doing."
Folks, we're ready. Yeah. We're ready to enroll, Dr. Wood. We're ready to.
Hey, I just want to say we have master's programs as well, folks.
Yeah. Okay. I'm ready. Dr. Wood, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for making time for us. We're very, very excited for Friday. It's going to be a hell of a night at the stadium and on ESPN, and yeah, we're going to be out there in full force.
Yep, looking forward to the Panda Bowl, and we will see if Montana travels well to support their team or not. Again, they haven't been traveling well this season.
No,
it's
tough
unfortunate.
To see. It's tough.
It's unfortunate. Yeah. Dr. Wood, we appreciate you, boy. Thank you.
Tell Howard I said what's up, man. Tell my boy Howard I said what's good.
I will.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's welcome in our man James Ham of the Insiders. Hammer. Kings basketball is back tonight. There's been all sorts of debate all day about the direction this team should go and what they should have done and what they shouldn't do. I'm excited for the season.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Basketball is back tonight. I recognize there could be some moments where it looks a little rocky, but I'll wait for those moments to get here. Hopefully, those moments don't begin tonight, Hammer, because I don't think Phoenix is very good.
Yeah, I mean, as much as the Kings have problems, so does the Phoenix Suns. I mean, the Phoenix Suns don't have a true point guard. You know, they're down Jalen Green. They have some sort of savvy vets to go along with, you know, Devin Booker and you know, the potential like Mark Williams, and you know, they have some nice things, but they're also a team that underwent a gigantic change over this offseason. And we don't know what that's going to look like for them either. I think they're not nearly as talented as the Kings. They're not nearly as deep as the Kings. But, The Kings are also missing 2 starters walking into this game, and they just signed Russell Westbrook like 5 days ago. Like, we don't know what this Kings team is going to look like, and so we'll have to see how the cards play out.
Do you look at this team and think that there's any how do I put this? Do you see a pathway where they get off to some type of hot start? No, I mean, when I say hot, I mean
5-5,
7-3, something like that. Do you see that, even though they don't have Keegan Murray for a little while? Hopefully they get Sabonis back real soon. But like, I think we talk about like the doomsday scenario with this team, and I can see that. I can see where it's just a rough start to the season. Does anybody, and I'll ask you, see a scenario where it's the complete opposite?
Yeah, I think we did an interesting exercise yesterday on the podcast, and I'll do it with you guys right now. Like, what do you think is the most wins this team can get this year? Like, what's their ceiling, in your opinion?
46.
Yeah, I'm 44 to 46. That's where I've always been.
Okay, so I said 46, right? What is the floor?
I say 30.
An honest floor. What do you think it is?
Now that we're dealing with stuff already, like for me, I still find some of these numbers outrageous. I'd say 38.
Oh, wow, that's really high. Okay,
is it?
So
that's just crazy to me that's high.
I would say the floor of this team is more like 31 or 33, like what Kenny said. But that's the floor. That means that injuries hit and bad things happen. I just like, there's a pretty wide like swath here between, like, I'd say between 14 and 15 game, like, plus or minus. Like, we have no idea what this team is going to be. Kyle asked me earlier, if you could get 2 and 3 out of the first 5, would you take it right now? And I said, no, I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. I heard you say that. Yeah.
Yeah. The first 5, I mean, you need 3 and 2. Like, just looking at the teams they're playing, you need 3 and 2, and you can possibly get 4 and 1. So that's where you should be aiming. You should be aiming for 4 and 1. And if you don't, like, that's where, like, this is going to get pretty ugly, because it doesn't get any easier after the first 5. Like, I've talked about this for a while. The first 19 games are ridiculous. The first 5 aren't that bad. It's the next 14. One of those games is OKC, and one of them is on the back-to-back after you play OKC. But that was the other point that I was making to Kyle earlier, is that just look at the schedule. Like, any game that you think could be at least a little bit lighter, almost every single one of those games is on the second night of a back-to-back. Outside of these first 2 games, you look at Chicago, you're like, okay, they can beat Chicago. Chicago's the night after they play OKC. You look at Atlanta, you're like, Atlanta's a good team, but they're still young. They're still figuring things out. You might be able to get Atlanta, right? Especially at home. You're playing at home. You're playing OKC the night before. It feels like every single time you have a game that you might be able to get, you play OKC the night before. And so, like, really, the schedule is difficult. And I don't know how they'll fare, but if they somehow come out of the first 19 games at 10 and 9, I think it's like game on. Like, this thing is going to go well. Like, they're going to be in it this season. And it, as far as a playoff team or a play-in team, if it doesn't go really well, like, I won't be surprised, number one, but then it's like, it's going to be scramble mode the whole time. And then we're going to look at January, going to be like, okay, if they get to this point and they're not this far away from 500, should they be sellers or should they be buyers? You know what I mean? We're going to start questioning, at what point do you start to, like, piece this thing out, or do you add? And so I don't know what direction the season's going to go. And I feel like there is such a, like, huge disparity between what a good season and a bad season would be for this team. And so we just kind of got to figure out what they look like, at maybe every 5 games, like Dave Yeager used to do, like check in at 5 games, check in at the second 5 games, and see if they're improving, see if they're not, and if they're in trouble or if they're still swimming. And I definitely think that we'll be able to know quite a bit about this team, not just in the first 2 games, but in the first, 5 or 10.
Does it matter how those games look? Like, if I think you said 10 and 9, this thing could be go positive. Does it matter how those games look?
No, like for me in an 82 game schedule, like when you're this type of team, when you're a 500-ish team, maybe a little above, maybe a little below, to me, like just win, figure it out. If you look great for a stretch and you're clearly on a path, but you keep coming up a little bit short, maybe I would change my mind a little bit, but there has to be like clear evidence. You remember a couple of years ago when the Beam team won, right? Right away, they came out of the gate and they weren't hitting 3-pointers. And I like they were just a little bit off. And I told you guys right away, like this team is on the cusp of being something crazy, because if they just have this one little thing go right, if they just start hitting a couple more threes, they'll have one of the most explosive offenses in the league. I kept saying, like, look at their offensive and defensive ratings. They're projecting out as like this really, really good team. I don't know how, and it doesn't make any sense because they just put that team together, but you could see the advanced statistics were showing you that they were better than their record. They were better than the 0-4 they started the season. So now you start, kind of figuring out how they're piecing things together this year. We won't know right off the bat unless, again, they just get clubbed 2 games in a row right off the bat and they don't look good against the Lakers. They lose by 40 to OKC, and then they don't put a good showing up against Chicago the next day. We'll be like, okay, this is going to be like a long road. But I do think that there is room for positivity here.
Yeah, I was just stuck on the spiral, right? Like losing by 40 to OKC. They didn't lose the 40 to champions when they had DeMarcus Cousins and John Salmons. That's not going to happen here. But they do. I agree with Hammer and everybody else. They do need to take advantage of this early stretch they have of winnable games, and more so when you talk about winnable games because of injuries, not necessarily because the Kings are a good or a bad team, but you're dealing with injuries. You're not going to have Sabonis for the first 2 games. If you can find a way to get those 2 wins or get one of the first 2, I look at that not only as you're starting 1-1, but you're able to keep yourself above water while Sabonis is out. Same thing with the other 3 games of that stretch, and any game that you have that Keegan Murray isn't out. If you can get that game or while Keegan Murray is out, if you can get those games while you're shorthanded, that'll kind of set you up for when you get past that tough stretch and things start to settle down a little bit. Plus, you'll start getting guys back.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I get that, but injuries are such a huge part of the NBA. I mean, again, you're playing Phoenix tonight without Jalen Green. They'll probably sit Lauri Markkanen on Friday just because they want a better draft pick, even though it's the second game of the season on Friday. Maybe not. Maybe he'll play, but let's be honest. LeBron James isn't playing on Sunday. And when we get to OKC next week, OKC might be without Jalen Williams still. And when you get to the Bulls, they may be without Kobe White. So, like, there are reasons you lose games. There are also, like, at some point, there are excuses. Like, the roster isn't built correctly to withstand the loss of Keegan Murray. I get it. But that's an excuse. You had 4 months to figure out how to have a backup that could play the 3 and the 4. Like, so I get it. Like, Kenny, I understand what you're saying, but these other teams are going to be shorthanded too. Not every team is at full strength every single game. And, it's a bummer for the Kings to come out of the chute without Domas and without Keegan, but that's the game. It is.
There's probably so the other side of that is, like, is Phoenix very good? Like, we don't know. We're guessing. We're making proclamations and all this stuff. We're doing that with the Suns. We're doing that with the Kings. We're doing that with all of these teams. But I think there's something to be said if the Kings win tonight. And I know Utah is bad. If the Kings go 2-0 and you do that without Domas and Keegan and hell, even Isaac Jones, just for depth purposes tonight, like, yeah, that should breathe a little extra life into Kings fans. It should breathe a little extra life into the players. Like, yeah, like we're up against it already. and we had a response like this. DeMar told us during training camp, but us, we weren't there, told you, I think it was media day. Yeah, like, I don't like the way this team is talked about. They act like we don't have talent here. Stop short of saying we're not the Charlotte effing Hornets. Like, we've got a squad here.
Right.
And it's like, those are all great things to say. Now, DeMar and the rest of this team, Russ said something similar when he was introduced to the media on Sunday. He said, I love how everyone doubts this team. Okay. Well, everyone has said that. Now we've got to go act on it.
Yeah, that's always the question. How do you respond? And, like I again, earlier with Kyle, we were talking about, the way that Shea answered the questions last night after the game. Like, that was a perfect answer. Like a guy who just won the MVP and an NBA championship said, "Hey, we didn't shoot the ball that well, but we hang our hat on defense, and that's how you sustain. That's when shots aren't falling, when things aren't going your way. If you still play really hard defense, you still put yourself in a position to have a shot." That's where like Doug Christie's trying to instill all this stuff into them. I just, again, you hope that they have the players. They have talent. They have offensive talent all over the place. But do they have a cohesive unit? Do they have chemistry? Do they have the necessary pieces to space the floor and to defend anybody? I think it's going to be a work in progress the entire season. But like, again, I don't think the Kings' ceiling as a defensive team is to be like a top 10 defensive rated team. Actually, I don't think there's any way, like, even to project them to be anything better than 18, 19 is probably being generous. And if they somehow got up to like 15, that would be a mild miracle, like, just by judging at the pieces that they have in place. So, like, a defensive scheme can help those things, but at the same time, like, this team has got to go out there and find an identity very quickly. And they also have to figure out how all these pieces work together. I mean, I don't know how the trio of Dennis Schroeder and Malik Monk and Russell Westbrook work together. And they're going to have to figure that out on the fly, like, really quickly, or it can look a lot like me ball. Like, everyone gets to take a turn, I guess, and maybe they don't. Like, this team has got to find like who they are, and identity, and sort of a spirit about them, like, very quickly.
Yeah, to what both of you guys are talking about, to Damien's point, I mean, there's just, what I would deem, if I were them, a lot of disrespect going around. It's one thing to be critical or cynical of a team and, hey, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. It's just disrespectful to, a few different top flight players' careers. And if I were them, I'd be pretty pissed off going into this game. I'd be pretty pissed off going into the season with the way that people have talked about this team, talked about those individuals. Yeah, I'd be pretty hot if I cared. And that's the question. That's a legit question. Do you guys care enough to do something about it? Do you care enough to shut people up or prove them wrong? And I think that's going to be one of the biggest questions to this season, especially the early part of the season, while it's still fresh in everybody's mind.
Yeah, I get that, but what I haven't seen is a lot of disrespect aimed at DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine or Russell Westbrook or Dennis Schroeder or Domantas Sabonis. What I have seen is a lot of disrespect at the collective, and that's different. You know what I mean? It's not like someone saying, "Oh, they got a whole team of washed guys."
They said those guys will make Sabonis retire. That's disrespectful to guys that have achieved more than him in this league. I'd be pissed off.
Say that. A guy said that.
That's true. That's fair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
it's hella funny when you say it out loud. They're gonna make Sabonis retire early. That's amazing.
I also, like, when I watched the post game last night, Chet Holmgren decided to, like, storm the set, right? Which was fun. Everyone was excited. Like, Chet's like, all right, I'm gonna go over and hang out. I'm not sure why he decided to do that without a shirt on.
Yeah,
put some clothes on. But then, like, he's standing right next to like three guys that are, one who's in the Hall of Fame and two that will be in the Hall of Fame. So you've got T-Mac, you got Vince Carter, and you've got Carmelo Anthony. Like, this is kind of the point. Like, Chet Holmgren is the one with a ring. The other three aren't. Individual accomplishments, they're fine, but it doesn't matter if you can't play as a team and if you can't figure out how to win. And to me, like, they're all looking at his ring, and then they open the ring up and there's a ring inside the ring and all that stuff. But like, that's what we're talking about. It's not that the collection of talent is bad. It's that the collection of talent is mismatched. And it's just tough. It's tough to win when you've got it's not like we don't have a track record with these guys. Like, between, DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook, we're talking about, this is like, they're going to have 35 years of NBA experience. We know exactly who they are. We know exactly who Zach LaVine is going into year 12, exactly who Domantas Sabonis is going into year 10. It's not like people are like taking shots at, like, again, individual players, but like, we kind of have seen these players with each other, with different versions of the players that they're going to play with, and you see how it works sometimes and how it doesn't other times. Like, being a team, I think OKC is the ultimate, like, design of a team that, like, it's a version of a team that's going to work really well for a couple of years, where it's defensive minded, and but they all slot into very specific roles. And I don't know how you slot the Kings players into specific roles yet. And I'm gonna have to see how it works. But that's a huge question mark. Like, again, how does Malik Monk and Russell Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder work as, like, a trio that might play in the backcourt, either together at times, or, as a trio, or as just two of them at one point? Like, how do those guys function? How does that group function? How does Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan function when we've already seen that, not just last year in Sacramento, but for 3 years in Chicago? There are, like, plenty of things that would lead you to believe that some of the pairings that they have are not going to work together. But then again, it's a coin flip. We have no idea what the entirety of it's going to look like. And so I'm intrigued for sure. But, again, at this point, this roster looks more like something that you would put together in 2K and try to figure out. And that's not usually how, sustainable winning happens at the next level, at this level.
I disagree a little bit with the shots that have been taken at, the collective versus the individuals.
Individual
Yeah,
shots, like
especially now that Russell Westbrook is here. I did take a look at something just a minute ago, Hammer, as you were talking. I don't know. It's just numbers, and I'll bring them to you. DeMar DeRozan is entering his 17th season in the league. So he's played 16. Of those 16 seasons, DeMar DeRozan has made the playoffs 7 times. Again, just a number, giving it to you. Russell Westbrook is entering his 18th season. So he's played 17. Of those 17, Russell Westbrook has made the playoffs 13 times.
I think he's made it 9 in the last 10.
This group has played winning basketball before. Zach LaVine has played once. I don't know how many years Zach LaVine has been in the league off the top of my head.
11. This will be year 12.
But so whether it's 11 or 12, the number for him, I think, is just 1. And he did that, obviously, with DeMar a handful of years ago. And DeMar has been on Toronto, San Antonio, and Chicago. He's made the playoffs with all 3 of those teams. It's just the idea that these guys play a brand of basketball that doesn't amount to winning is absurd. It's absurd with DeMar DeRozan to me, and it's absurd with Russell Westbrook to me. Now, Hammer, to your main point, how does all of this work together? I don't know. That's Scott Perry's task. That's Doug Christie. Doug Christie's task is to figure out how this works together. Mm-hmm. Scott Perry's task is to recognize if it's not, what he's going to do and how quickly he's going to do it. But I just really dislike the narrative that these guys don't play a form of winning basketball.
Yeah, I don't like I'm with you. Like there's plenty of playoff games amongst those players, but again, it's about how do they all fit together, and a team isn't about who can collect the most guys who might make the Hall of Fame. That's not, again, if it was, the Clippers would have like 5 rings. That it's just not the way that it works. You've got to put players together that actually complement each other and fit together. And again, it's why, again, I think you had 4 players standing up like at the podium, well, at the desk yesterday talking. 3 of those guys are literally Hall of Famers, and one of them isn't, and one of them has a ring and the others don't. Like, it's not about like who's the best player. It's about who fits together and how you make a complementary roster. And again, I'll say this, like the Beam Team won. The Beam Team won didn't have success because it was just some like crazy out of nowhere, how did this work? It was because they had all kinds of complementary pieces that worked together. Like, did guys shoot above, their career averages here and there? Sure. But like, if you're going to have Domas, you surround him with long and athletic shooters. Like, we can talk all we want about how Kevin Huerter fell apart in the final 2 years here in Sacramento. He's a 6'7" starting shooting guard who in the first year with the Kings shot like 38.9 or something from 3. Like, there are ways in which players fit together and ways that you can see a team lay out that will complement each other, and then ways that they don't. And like, we're going to have to see if these players can figure out ways to complement each other. But it does, like, I'm left with questions about, again, a team with most of their rotation are like low 30% 3-point shooters. That's tough. It's just tough in the modern NBA to keep up like
but
that.
I'm really happy that Matt George is here with us. Matt George, ABC 10 and the Great Locked On Kings podcast. Matt, we got all the ups and downs last night in Phoenix. Your overall feelings about the way the game went last night?
Before I start with that, I wanted to make sure to say Jesse Tapia is the funniest member of this show and one of the funniest guys in Sacramento. Jesse almost made me crash my car this afternoon when I was driving in, and someone was talking about, Damian, you were talking about Portland canceling media availability. And Jesse just said, "Why? What happened?" Oh, I almost drove off the road.
Jesse's deadpan sense of humor.
It's the best. It's the delivery. It's the delivery for me. Jesse, never change who you are, my friend. Well, if you missed my video of me screaming into a pillow last night, that's about how it what sums up the emotions from that first game.
It has to do with the Kings.
Oh, we're talking the Kings? Oh, I was talking about my relationship. Oh, I just got it.
Oh, well. You didn't help yourself with that line, but so you were screaming into a pillow, man. I wish this show would grow up. For God's sakes, I wish this show would grow up.
How do we save this? Where do we go from here?
I missed that video, Matt.
Yeah, well, there's a website. There's some age restrictions, but maybe you can find it. No, it was a. I mean, I just wish I could just focus on that first half, and like Doug Christie could bottle up that first half. And it made me think of a line that Doug shared in training camp. And he said, like, he told the guys at one point, like, y'all messed up because you showed me that you could do it. And now that you've showed me that you could do it, now we're going to demand more. Like, we're going to demand it because you showed me. That was during training camp. Now the Kings have messed up because they showed their entire fan base, hey, we can do it for a half. But the second half was just, unfortunately, like, the wheels fell off and the Kings took their foot off the gas. Whatever analogy you want to use, Sacramento completely fell apart. And I understand basketball is a game of runs, and a 20-point lead isn't what it used to be. De'Aaron Fox used to say that all the time in Sacramento, and I didn't like it then either. And I understand Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray were out. Well, we've seen those two play and the Kings blow leads like this over the last handful of years. It's just all too familiar, regardless of whatever excuse or circumstance. It's the first game. Russ hadn't played before, blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't blow a 20-point lead in a game that you were that firmly in control. And I know Doug Christie after the game talks about defense. That's his MO. That's what he is all about. But the Sacramento Kings could barely score the basketball in the second half. That, to me, is what's concerning. I mean, The Suns scored over 60 points in the second half. Look, that you want that number to be under 60, of course, but I still felt the defense at times was fine. It was okay. It was more than enough for a team that's supposed to be as good on offense as the Sacramento Kings are to win the basketball game. They just went cold at the wrong time. Zach LaVine went from red hot to chucking bricks. DeMar DeRozan got woken up by Dylan Brooks a little bit, but he couldn't hit a free throw. So it's not all blame on one person, two people, or 10 people. Like, everybody has to wear a certain element of that game. But unfortunately for Kings fans, it's an all too familiar scene that a coaching change and a front office change and some slight roster changes shockingly didn't get rid of.
Matt, what's your take on, or your thought process on the Keon Ellis situation? We had a lot of dialogue about that today, about the 12 minutes he played compared to 18 for Westbrook, 27 for Monk, 23 for Nate Clifford. What's your thoughts on Keon last night and potentially going forward?
Yeah, I heard your guys' conversation about this earlier. I thought it was a fantastic conversation. I was looking forward to adding to it. Guys, I'm under a pretty significant impression that the belief amongst the Sacramento Kings organization is that Keon Ellis is more replaceable than people are making him out to be. And I think there is this belief in Sacramento, and history would suggest that Kings fans fall in love with a player or two based off of the hustle and the way that they play. Typically, they're young players with these kind of underdog stories that the Kings and Kings fan base latch onto. And while I'm not bringing that up in any kind of way to undermine who Keon Ellis is as a basketball player, like, I think I have a pretty good understanding that the Kings believe that if they were to lose Keon in free agency, they can find a replacement for him. There are players like Keon Ellis out there. And I think what's unfortunate is if Keon Ellis were 6'7", 6'8", we wouldn't be having that conversation. And they would have paid him already, because those are the type of players that every single team wants. But every team could use a Keon Ellis. I don't know why Keon wasn't in the game. I think he should have been in the game. But I think this is a further reflection of truly how this organization views Keon. And I mean, I know you guys were joking earlier about is it Vivek Ranadive? Is it ownership calling in saying don't play the guy? Like, I can tell you firsthand, going back to last year, that Mike Brown was the one to initially make the decision to have Keon play in the first place and give Keon opportunity over some of the guys on two-way contracts and playing in Stockton that higher ups would have preferred play over Keon at the time. I'm not using that to defend Mike Brown at all, because of course he made mistakes, but this has been happening. This has been around Keon for a while, for a couple of seasons here in Sacramento, which is why even with the coaching change and Doug Christie, even with the front office change and Scott Perry, Keon seems to be, in a short sample size, just one game this season, getting similar treatment to where if someone's going to sacrifice their minutes, it seems like it's going to be Keon.
That was interesting. Do you agree with the Kings? Is Keon Ellis easily replaceable?
No, I don't, because I think
you know what? Actually, that was a stupid follow-up question. Let me try this differently, because you said that you believe there's people in the organization who feel this way. This is the second front office group and the second coaching staff. Is this a prevailing thought that's running through multiple coaching staffs and multiple front offices?
Yes. I don't think this is the same people here have the same opinion. I think that opinion is shared or has been adapted by newer people here. And I understand that to be the case based off of the decision to pick up Keon Ellis's option early in the offseason. We could talk about financially, it gave them more flexibility to give Dennis Schroeder money or whatever. If Keon Ellis were a priority, as much as we believe he should be a priority, then they would have gotten something done then, just like they got something done with Keegan at $140 million total over 5 years. They got that done even with Keegan out, because Keegan is a priority. I just don't think Keon is viewed as much of a priority as the fan base believes he should be or is. And I think that's the whole point. Again, I think the organization feels that Keon is a popular figure and loved by the fans because of the way that he plays. But if he were to leave, they could find that elsewhere. They could find someone else to replace that. I don't necessarily fully agree on it. And to go back to your first follow-up question, which I thought was fine, D'Lo, what the messaging is what doesn't make sense to me. If you're Scott Perry, you list out these 6 or 7 kind of features or traits of who you want this Kings team to be and how you want to play. If Keon doesn't check all 7 of them, I don't know who does. Doug Christie talks about the way he wants to play. It seems like Keon Ellis would be a perfect fit for Doug. And yet I think there's just an understanding in Sacramento or a belief amongst that organization that Keon's a good player. We value Keon. He's an important piece of this team, but he is not as expendable as we believe him to be. And there are priorities higher up on the list than him right now. Or there were during the offseason, at least.
Man, I understand it. I understand it. I like Keon as much. We talked about it just a second. I like him as much as anybody on this roster. I love his demeanor. I love what he brings to the table. I said it a year ago, and I still feel this way. I think he has all defensive team capabilities with how he's able to guard. But I do believe, and I talk about this with the insiders a lot, I do believe you can find those type of players rather easily. It's almost like and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Kyle Shanahan's wrong, but it's like Kyle Shanahan and offensive lineman. Like I'm not spending the 2nd overall pick on an offensive lineman because I can find somebody that can get the job done for cheaper and later in the draft. Like that's kind of how I feel about wings, the defensive-minded wings that are 3-and-D guys. I do believe you can find those guys all over the place. I don't know why the Kings
can't.
I don't know why they can't. I have no idea why they can't. We named 4 guys yesterday on the Oklahoma City Thunder who are 2nd-round picks. Picks number 40, 46, 55, undrafted, Lou Dort, guys like that. Like they're all over the place. Dylan Cardwell, I'm not saying he's great. He's an undrafted guy. He was closing out the game for you. Mm-hmm. Like you can find guys like that all over the place. And that doesn't mean that you don't try to sign Keon Ellis or you don't try to bring him back. But I don't think you break the bank or do everything in the world to sign him or maybe even play him in certain situations.
Yeah, I want to clarify a couple things kind of building off what Kenny said there. Number one is it's not that the Sacramento Kings aren't interested in bringing Keon back. I think there is the hope and the belief that come February or March, whenever he's eligible to be extended, that they will get some sort of deal done. I know the insiders were throwing out a number. Kyle Madsen threw out like $12 million a year, like a 4-year, $48 million deal. And he's just total ballparking there. I don't know if the Sacramento Kings would be willing to pay that much for Keon Ellis, or they feel they need to pay that much for Keon Ellis. Maybe they feel they could get him for $8 million a year. I have no idea. I'm not privy to any of those financial conversations. But I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying as the Sacramento Kings don't value Keon and don't want Keon here. They do. There are other priorities, like to them, getting Dennis Schroeder in this building for whatever money they needed to put on the table to get him here was way more of a priority than bringing Keon Ellis in or extending Keon. And that might send off alarm bells to Kings fans. And I don't necessarily blame you for it, but that was Scott Perry's approach to this team. The other thing I wanted to address, because I've seen it a number of times in the chatty house and on my comment section, whatever. Why don't you just trade him then? Why don't you just trade him? Because Keon Ellis makes $2 million. So what are you trading, or what are you getting of value in return, unless it's a draft pick, which I don't know how many teams are lining up to give you a first-round pick that means anything for Keon Ellis right now. $1 million player. Yeah, like so you'd have to attach another player or two to Keon to get a player of, we believe, Keon's value back in return, because those guys are like $15+ million players per year. Like if Keon were made, that's why we heard so much about Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors wanting to get him on this value of a contract, so it's a better trade piece to go out and target a star if he were to become available to give Steph Curry one last run. Like the money is what's important here. That doesn't mean that Keon doesn't have value. It's the money that is attached to Keon in a cap situation where every team is strapped for cash right now and doesn't have a lot of wiggle room because of the apron system, it's just hard to move Keon for any kind of value in return. You're certainly not going to salary dump him or just send him off for nothing, or for scraps, unless Keon shows up and tells you, I'm not re-signing, you better get rid of me, which may very well happen. I don't have any indication right now, and there's no reason to believe that will happen. I think we need to wait till February to make any sort of judgment on this entire situation. But if I'm Keon Ellis, I'm sitting there on the bench going, boy, I had a good game. I could have helped you get some stops there down the stretch. I could have won that game. And you decide to play Malik or Neek or whoever over me. All right, I'm paying attention to that.
Well, I think like Keon is welcome to pay attention to that, but like Malik was playing well yesterday.
For sure.
And I think part of the dangers in evaluating games last night, like when you have a lead like that, when you're up 20 and obviously your offense has to disintegrate for a team to come back. There's always that hope, Malik, Levine, and DeMar was already playing well, that they're going to find it because they had it. They had it within this game. They had it during this time on the floor in this arena. You're hoping, oh, okay, that shot's dropping again like it was in the first half. Okay, Malik found that moment. He got it. Okay, he hit that one behind the arc. We're off and running again. All of those guys were playing at a level during that game where it's like I understand why Doug stuck with them. If they were playing like trash and Doug stuck with them, yeah, if I'm Keon, I might feel a certain way. Neek was playing really, really well defensively. It's why the news today is just brutal.
Right.
And then you have and Dennis was playing well. Right. I thought all of the guys that Kings fans disliked the most played really well last night.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Oh, sorry. Go, Casey.
No, I was just going to say, even in the fourth quarter, they all picked it up and decided to play well. I'm sorry, real quick, 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. There's a commercial for Force right now.
That's great. That's great.
They're listening to us.
Tommy's coming back. Shout out to Stars.
But yeah, I thought those guys in the fourth quarter played really well. And that doesn't mean Keon couldn't have been out there and helped as well. But it was like, man, who are you taking off the court in that situation?
Yeah, I think if we're looking at like a play-by-play thing, and you can't really sub play-by-play, it doesn't really work that way. But like there were a number of times where it was very clear that Phoenix was attacking Malik. I thought Malik played some of the best defense he's ever played in his career last night, to be honest. I thought he was as active as we've seen in terms of playing in front of his man or staying in front of his man. But there were times where he stayed in front of him and they just went right through him, right? Like there were a number of moments, whether it was Gillespie or whoever, was targeting and going after Malik in that fourth quarter. So maybe there's a situation there with, I know Malik's having a good game offensively, and he is a creator for you in a time where games can get chaotic like they did down the stretch of that game. So I understand Doug's decision to stick with him, but hindsight's 2020. Maybe that's a moment where, hey, things are unraveling a little bit. Keon, get in there and help us settle this down. Help us take away some of these buckets that they were converting on, which were very similar shots, by the way, to what they were getting in the first half. They just started falling because momentum is a silly thing in the game of basketball. Like that's just like that first half. I thought Zach LaVine, I've been telling you guys and telling people on the podcast and social media, like Zach has stood out to me defensively throughout the entire preseason. And he put the clamps on Devin Booker in the first quarter of that game. Like Devin was having a hard time getting through Zach LaVine. Like that doesn't mean Zach played a perfect defensive game, but I saw growth there. I thought DeMar DeRozan was playing some fantastic defense last night. So there's certainly things to take from that game and go, okay, bottle that up. And it makes us feel good. But you have to get the result too. When you're up 20, you didn't blow a 20-point lead to OKC and OKC. You blew a 20-point lead to a Phoenix Suns team that, I'm sorry, no disrespect, they are not a good basketball team. And you know what? Maybe the Kings just aren't either, because they let that game completely fall apart for a Suns team that, I mean, most of that run the Suns went on, Devin Booker was on the bench. Like that just can't happen.
And that's how it goes sometimes. Like you need a burst from your other guys and you get it. I think one thing lost in this conversation is something we talked a lot about during the preseason. We talked about the way Malik started the game. Malik was the only bench player to score for a while.
Yeah.
I think Keon was the next guy to kind of get going, if I remember correctly. But when those substitutions started, it was Malik and it was no one else. And that's, again, I understand there's a handful of problems from last night that resulted in them losing to a bad Phoenix Suns team by 4. A lack of production from that second unit has been a problem through the first 4 preseason games and now through that's not fair. Maybe not so much the Laker game, but it was certainly a problem last night. And while Malik was able to mask that for a little bit, Keon was able to contribute a little bit. At the end of the day, you're depleted right now. I know I'm sorry, this is tired and played. If your number's called, you got to go. And you've got to find a way to contribute. And the more that you don't, the more that second unit looks really, really bad, just flat out bad.
I think this is one of the toughest aspects of Doug's job too, because Doug, if anything, he's a fantastic communicator, and he does a phenomenal job of relating with you or relating with players. That's just who Doug has always been. And I think Doug is naturally going to run into mixed messaging issues because, and you guys were talking about this in the show earlier, he talks about defense. We needed to be better defensively, but you had so many guys out there that are known for offense. That's balancing the way this roster is constructed, which has always been a problem. And again, I'd say 85% of this roster is not Scott Perry's roster. It's what he inherited. Like his roster doesn't necessarily match his words. So you're going to get moments like that. You're also going to, I get what Doug's saying about defense, but when you fall down by 9 points in the fourth quarter, you need scorers out there to close that gap. Specifically, you need guys that are hitting threes, and Monk was hitting threes. Zach LaVine was hitting threes. I think Keon probably could have hit a few more threes than he did, but that's why some of those offensive players were out there too. So this is going to be a battle and a balancing act of this is what my roster is versus how I want them to play. And Mike had a horrible time navigating that. And Doug is trying to do better with that. So we have to take the messaging, I think, with a bit of grace too from Doug.
Yeah, I agree. Tough loss last night. Rebound against this crazy juggernaut that is the Jazz.
Yeah.
Oh. Or as Casey would say, oh, brother.
I'm trying to spin it in a way that the Jazz got that out of their system and the Kings got that frustrating loss out of their system. So you regroup and you punch them in the mouth on Friday night in the Golden One Center. That's how I'm setting it up. That's how I'm selling it.
Speaking of Friday night, what you got going on? Because it's Kings
home opener,
question. Sac State, and high school football. Where is Matt George going to be at?
You know, there's only one place Matt George is going to be at. I'm going to be at the Golden One Center for the home opener. That's my job. But we do have a great game of the week at ABC 10. I have a preview of that coming out today. We have undefeated Liberty Ranch taking on Rosemont, who has bounced back from a terrible season last year. They're 6-2 right now, so they're balling. So we have some great high school football action on that Friday night, but your boy will be in the Golden One Center. Kevin John will be out and about. Sac State doing their thing. Man, it's a sports renaissance in Sacramento, man. It's a great time to be in Sacramento.
It really is.
D'Lo and Casey can freelance at the Sac State game for ABC 10 if you'd like. Just let us know.
I am stunned.
That being free.
Damien, I am so stunned at your professionalism to stay true to your word and not see Russell Westbrook's debut in Sacramento. I'm like, I tip my cap to you because I would be like, hey, sorry.
No, it stings. It's not my favorite thing that I've done, but I know I'll be there.
I was gonna say you're coming through for the Laker game, right?
Oh yeah, I'll be there Sunday. I'll be around a lot this year. I'll get to see my guy play. But I mean,
are you going to be there? Are you going to do the same thing? I'm going to be there for like the first quarter. Like
I'm not
doing it.
I'm just going straight to Sac State because what's going to happen is I wind up not leaving.
Well, it'd only be another quarter.
Well, that's a good point. Oh, very funny. No, everybody's funny. Hey, FBI, why don't you investigate this guy? As a matter of fact, I hate it here. I'm leaving. We'll see you here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Big thanks to Matt George. Make sure you follow all his great work over at ABC 10 and, of course, his incredible Locked On Kings podcast. We will see you here tomorrow beginning at 10 a.m. with the Insiders on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
Vamos Prize Picks. We'll bring Bronte in. Bonte, Bonte Hill of NBC Sports Bay Area in the building here in Sacramento.
Boy,
look, B, we were actually just showing a little love. Okay, it's a rare occasion. We were actually showing a little love. You can attest to this. You've seen pretty much every game of Steph Curry's career. You've had a firsthand account for the last 4 or 5 years while being at NBC Sports Bay Area. And while that is a dental office down there in downtown San Francisco, it is a dental office. When Steph Curry hits a three, it is different. Like, you see it on TV, you can hear it on TV, and I'm sure when you're there, the buzz when Steph Curry hits a three and does some of the things he did last night late in that game is different.
Never gets old, man. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago. It's like, I don't think I fully appreciated Jerry Rice. Like, Jerry Rice would walk off the field, 6 catches, $150, 2 touchdowns. And you're like, oh, that's just another day in the office. And I felt myself, even with radio listeners, Steph dropped 40 and people were like, oh, whatever. Like, whatever. Draymond gets a technical, all lines lighten up. You know what I mean? Clay do something, all lines. Steph hits 46 and nobody gives a damn sometimes. And I'm like, yo, this is not going to happen again for this franchise. Probably not going to happen. Like, this dude, they threw up a stat yesterday, post 30. He's had 42 40-point games since he's turned 30.
Jesus.
He's 2 behind Michael Jordan for number 1 on the list. So when you start, like, and there's all type of records where it's like, oh, Michael Jordan, Will Chamberlain, Steph. Like, wait a minute, dude. Like, I'm not saying he's the best player ever, but when you start D'Lo and KC, think about, like, Michael Jordan's my all-time GOAT. I don't care what any, like, LeBron's never reached that stratosphere where Jordan was a cold-blooded killer. Like, Jordan is Jordan. And Steph is on these lists with Michael Jordan. I'm just like, dog, we got to, like, cherish this shit.
There's I don't think you can say that. This is
Oh, are we live now? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we was live. I didn't know we was live.
You're good. You're good.
This live. It's all good, baby.
Oh, man.
We got you. We got you. You're good. You're good. We got you.
It's all good, man.
Bonte DeRozan,
man. And it happened to be with y'all. Oh, man, we're going to shut it down. How you do the brothers like that, man?
It's a classic.
With the brothers, man.
It's a classic.
Can I tell you, that's my favorite thing is people are so comfortable with us. They don't know if the show is on. They don't know the show if it's on. They don't know if this is a podcast. They don't know what's going on. There's two things I want to say real quick. And I'm going to start with one and I'm going to get to Steph in case he's sorry to do this because we haven't got to do this on the air yet. Bonte, and I'll speak for Kenny and Jesse and bro, we're so proud of you.
I appreciate that,
what you have done, through your run at 95.7 in the morning roast, and now everything that you're doing at NBC Sports Bay Area, everything you're doing covering the San Francisco 49ers, being at these games, being at these practices, the way that you've advanced your social media content to bring something like fresh to a different audience. To everything that you're doing with the Golden State Warriors and with Festus and Mullen and all of those guys, and to bring that stuff back to social media, man, it is so fun to watch what you do. It is so motivating to watch how you continue to expand your platform. And I know I texted this to you a few days ago, but it needs to be said publicly, man. We are just incredibly proud of what you have done. And it has been for an individual, and I don't think I've ever actually met in person to be able to watch your journey and be like a tiny part of it is just awesome, man. And your flowers need to be given, and I want to make sure we're doing that right now.
Well, I appreciate that, man. You're about to make me tear up on the real, man, because KC's been part of this journey. I've seen KC grow. And I told you this, D-Lo, like when I was a promo intern, I was like, man, who's that dude in Sacramento? And when I started coming on your show, I started connecting dots. Like, wait a minute. That was the guy who gave me hope up there in Sac that people like us can be on the airways. People like us can host a radio show. We can actually be articulate and spread our wings a little bit. And so You know, I'm blessed, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I tell whenever I walk in the 95.7 game and I hear people complaining or this and that, I say, hey, think about it, man. It's a privilege to do what we do. Mm-hmm. We would be doing this if we weren't working. We love this stuff. We're cut from a different cloth. We eat, sleep, and you know what? Sports. And, you know, to be able to get paid and have the access. And like every day I'm talking to Mully, I'm like, man, now it's like when Mully hit me, I was like, what up, Mully? Like it's nothing. But the first few times I'm like, dude, this is a Hall of Famer, like hit my line. And now we talk every day. Fezzi, the same thing. Like that's my brother who I was watching and maybe critiquing on the level, like, why'd you foul LeBron in the finals in Game 7? And now that's my guy. So I just try to spread that same joy and that same love, like, and be as authentic as possible and not change because, you know, I tell the same story all the time and I'll be quick with it. But when I met a janitor, my first game I covered at the JUCO level, City College of San Francisco. And I had a conversation with this janitor. And he's like, all right, young man, be great out there. You're going to do awesome, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, no matter wherever this goes, I've got to talk to those same people, the janitors, the ushers, the security guards, the people who take the tickets. And I still talk to those people every single day. And they always tell me, Vontae, we love you because you never change no matter what. Whatever the role is, whatever you're doing, you've never changed and keep that same energy. So I appreciate it, man, because I'm just trying to represent for us and be a role model for guys who look like us and even other people, white, black, Chinese, I don't even give a damn. Showing them that, hey, there is a way to make the impossible possible.
Right, and you are.
Yeah, you're doing.
Appreciate that. And that's crazy, D-Lo. I still haven't met you yet in person. And we've had so many conversations over the phone. That's insane. We've got to change that over the next year.
Yeah, we absolutely have to. Man, there's 49ers news out there that I really like to get to, but there's something regarding Steph that you were alluding to the categories that he's in, and I want to make sure we touch on it. And I'll steal a line from Kenny Caraway. There is a pound for pound discussion to be had with Steph Curry. When you talk about pound for pound, the greatest player of all time, like Steph is starting to reach. It feels like LeBron can't. Like there's nothing LeBron James can do to get to number one, right? For people who have him at number two, there's nothing he can do to get to number one. But it feels like every single year, Steph Curry is doing something to move up a list. Wherever you have him on the list, whether it's 15 or 10 or 5, he's doing something every year to where he's like moving up higher and higher and higher. And it really is, as much as I, hate to see him against Sacramento, every other team, like I said to Kenny to start this, I love watching Steph do that to 28 other teams in the league.
We've seen it and I don't know when it's slowing down. Mm-hmm. With modern medicine and the way he takes care of his body. And we saw the all-season tapes where he's got the weighted vest, running in dunes, running in mountains. And I'm thinking, that's what Jerry Rice used to do with those classic videos of running the mountains. And then, you think about the all-time greats as a guard. To continue, now, he doesn't have the same ability to blow by guys at a consistent level. He's still got to work very hard sometimes for his shots. I thought Christian Brown yesterday for the Denver Nuggets did a good job in the first half. And then Steph slowly figured it out. And he started to pick them apart. And the way he's treated his body, now you look at him, even 5 years ago to what he looks like now, he's been in that weight room. So he's got that grown man strength where he's finishing at the rim. And even when he gets fouled and he'll throw something up, Pookie had a line yesterday. It's like, even when he just throws something up, it looks like it's going in. I mean, he scares the living death out of people. And the perfect litmus test is go back and watch those Kevin Durant finals when Kevin Durant was with the Warriors. Now, in my opinion, if Kevin Durant doesn't come, the Warriors don't beat those Cavalier teams. But the Cavaliers were still so petrified of Curry that Kevin Durant had multiple.
Oh, we lost you, big dog. We can't hear. I don't know.
It was. Yeah, somebody calling me, man. Let me go on Do Not Disturb. But he was basically opening up the lane for Kevin Durant because there was 10 eyes on Stephen Curry. So to your point, he can go another 3 years doing this at this level.
Straight up. I think he's in that category of a one-on-one, even with the way the game is changing and what he's kind of birthed with the youth and stuff like that. I'd be hard pressed to believe we see another Steph Curry. But look, I'm done with this. Okay, this isn't dub talk. I'm not Monty Poole. Okay, we're not here to talk dubs on here.
You don't
all
want
right?
to talk Kaminga?
No, Kaminga watch is over. Okay, no. Yeah,
some of these Warrior fans are walking a lot of things back right now when it comes to Kaminga.
He looks good in 2 games, man. He's getting opportunities.
Okay, guys, one Kaminga question, then you can go. All right. And you can make this quick, Monte. Do you think is there any chance he is a Warrior for the long-term future?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I think it's a lot to play. Right. I don't know yet. I hope he is, but I can't answer that right now, D-Lo. I really can't.
I got you.
In all seriousness, with that, could have talked more basketball with Bonte always, but I want to make sure we talk about the Niners, man. 5-2 against all odds, damn near. It didn't stop this week either. Brock is going to be out. Ricky's going to be out. Looks like Lenore is going to be out now, who I think he's the top 5 corner in the game right now. He's that locked down. Bryce Huff is going to be out, but yet they might go out into Houston and get another W. How do they keep doing this? How they keep losing guys week after week, but they always find a way, it seems like so far in this season. How does this keep happening with these guys?
Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh. It took me a while for Kyle Shanahan to win me over. I think it was when they traded Trey Lance, and he was so forthcoming in terms of just explaining why he went through what he went through with Trey Lance and why he made the trade and why he made it when he did. He didn't have to, give us all the details about what happened with Trey, the meeting with Trey. And I said, you know what? Okay, I can live with that. I respect it. May not agree with all of it, but I respect it. That guy is a wizard when it comes to coaching. I know he doesn't have the ring. He doesn't have the ring, and everybody's going to hold that against him. He's, by the way, the only offensive coordinator to ever get blamed for a Super Bowl, in my opinion. How's Dan Quinn off the hook when his defense gave up a 25-point lead? Like, Shanahan got you a 28-3 lead against Belichick. Yeah, Shanahan gets blamed. I met a Falcons fan in Cabo. I never met a Falcons fan in my life. And he was like, oh, Shanahan's your coach? Oh, good luck with that. But it's Shanahan and it's Robert Saleh. He's got those boys buttoned up. Think about that meeting in Cabo out of all people, this Falcon fan, mad at Shanahan. I'm like, dog, you had a 28-3 lead, dude. And he's mad and irate. And first of all, he's a Falcon fan, which I was like, I never met one of those. But anyway, it's Shanahan and Saleh, man. Their culture, the attention to detail, being prepared, having a good game plan, managing the game right. I mean, this is some of Shanahan's best work so far. So to have all those injuries and to still be able to win games ugly, it falls on coaching and culture, and that's a tip of the cap to Shanahan and Robert Saleh.
Yeah, we got a note here that Kenny kind of said against all odds. I continue to be surprised by this. Monte, I was surprised by it last week. I'm even more surprised by it this week. Brock Purdy's still not back.
Yeah.
We're going Mac Jones again. Ricky Pearsall. Is Schefter is Diamador Lenore out too?
I didn't see that yet. Okay. I just got back from jumping off my daughter. I didn't see that yet. I knew he had the quad. But Nico Collins and Christian Kirk is out for the Houston Texans. Yeah. So the Niners may say, you know what? We're going on that turf in Houston. We don't believe in C.J. Stroud and that offense enough to have Diamador Lenore and risk of an injury here. But the injury may be serious with the quad. You don't want to mess with that. So the fact that he's hurt, Bryce Huff is out for a couple of weeks. I mean, at some point, it's going to catch up with the 49ers. At some point, it will. And they have the Rams in a couple of weeks. And you better get right for the Rams because the worst thing that probably happened to the Rams, or the best thing I should say that happened to the Rams, was losing to the Niners on Thursday Night Football because they've got their act right since that football game. So he better get right for them. He better get right for Seattle later down the line. But I haven't seen anything that confirmed it. But the Brock Purdy injury, it's weird because I saw him walking in the locker room last week, and obviously it's just walking. You're not playing and planting and throwing the football. He looked okay, but it does worry you that your $265 million quarterback is not healthy again. And all of a sudden, the fans are starting to think, was that a mistake to give him all that money? Now, I still think there's more upside with Brock Purdy as opposed to Mac Jones because Mac Jones is a statue back there. But Mac is not as bad as what we all thought he was, and he's playing within the system. So as long as you get the running game going and you get Mac upright, make sure you protect him, this offense is going to continue to hum. But I caution everybody, they haven't scored more than 26 points in a game. So they stalled out in the red zone a couple times. That's where Brock Purdy's mobility comes into play. So in order, if they want to get to where they want to get to, which is Levi Stadium for the Super Bowl, they're going to need a healthy Brock Purdy at the end of the day.
Yeah. But that's where the return of George Kittle comes into play, yeah?
George Kittle helps. It was crazy, right? Last week, he didn't even catch a pass. And they ran the ball down the throat. So he helped the run game. They got that run game rolling, which is crazy because everybody said Christian McCaffrey was washed. But then on the flip side, they said the offensive line was terrible. So is Christian McCaffrey washed or is the line terrible? That don't go together to me. So you can't, and plus you can't be washed when you're catching about 7 passes a game and running routes better than half the wide receivers in the league. So George Kittle does help, but they also need some guys on the outside, whether it's Pearsall, whether it's Jennings, Kendrick Bourne, or the wild card in Brandon Ayuk, which I think if Ayuk gives them anything, D'Lo and KC, it's a bonus this year because I don't expect much from Brandon Ayuk coming off that injury.
I agree. Feel the same way. B, we appreciate you, big dog, man. You came to the Golden One Center January 9th. It's a Friday night. The Kings are at the dental office. I'm circling that on my calendar, man. I got to pull up on you now, dog.
D'Lo, every time I look at D'Lo's history, we got to get D'Lo down to the dental office. Every time I look at his Instagram, he's at Disneyland or something. I mean, he might be daddy of the year right now, man. What's going on with D'Lo? We don't got no Louis V jackets no more. We wear Mickey Mouse hoodies now.
Oh, hey, hold up, sweetie. Don't get it. I still got those jackets. Hey, I'm still D-Lo. Don't worry about that.
I gotta get him. Hey man, he's riding roller coasters and everything, man, wearing goofy hats. I gotta get him to the dental office, man. Come on now.
Priorities is shifted. Your boy's a happy man. Hey, before you leave, let's bring Eddie in here. This is an iconic quad right here. Bonte and Eddie Gonzalez on the same stream at the same time.
Oh man.
Come on, what's going on?
Oh man, this is legendary. This has made my day.
What's going on, big fella?
Twitter, he getting into with somebody, man. I'm like, man, I wish I could do that these days. Because sometimes I want to tell somebody to shut the hell up.
Hey, what a reputation. Oh, that's the dude be arguing. That's it.
No, I love your stuff on Twitter, man. You tweet some of the stuff I want to tweet, not just because I got to protect the check with these corporate moguls.
Hey, trust me, I know the game. I hear you, boy.
Hey, Bonte, we love you, boy. We appreciate you.
Love y'all too, man. Good to see you, Eddie, D'Lo, Casey. I'll be up there soon, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're going to hold you to that. That's a man, Bonte Hill, right there, NBC Sports California. We welcome in Eddie Gonzalez live in Houston. Hey, man, my only question is, how much screen time are you getting on Netflix? Are you the narrator, the EP? Like, what do we got?
All right, man, it's real quiet in here, man. It's real quiet in here. It's sunny, but it's real quiet. I'm not well traveled. I didn't know how hot it was in Houston. I landed in a hoodie and a sweater, a hoodie and sweatpants. So
I didn't know it was so hot out there.
Bro, it's 90 something. It's crazy out here. Yeah, I was like, all right. Thankfully, I threw some shorts in the bag, but and then as y'all see, I'm on my telephone. I literally forgot the password to my MacBook. So my MacBook is telling me I can't even try for another half hour. So it's been a good trip. Been a good trip.
You got to do the thing where you link the MacBook to your watch in case you forget it. If you got your watch on, it'll open it up.
Oh no! Look, this is the work one, and it has my fingerprint. And every once in a while, it says, "No, you can't use your finger. You got to remember your password." It's like, all right, I know my password, but this particular one, it needs like 12 characters and this many numbers, and this. So it could be anything. It could be anything. They might have to come get this and give me another one. How y'all feeling, man? How y'all living?
We good, man. Kings home opener tonight. Basketball's back, so it's lit.
I like this jersey better than the usual, so I appreciate that.
Friday night lights tonight, man. Sac State. 49 Friday. I'll be back next Friday. Don't worry about it. I had the Jerry Rice on yesterday. You know what I mean?
Can I still rep Sac State? I did like 3 semesters there. I didn't finish, but I can still rep it, right?
I didn't even go there and I rep Sac State. It's perfectly fine.
Okay, cool.
It's perfectly fine. As long as I can stand in the end zone for the game, I'll rep Sac State all day.
The one where they be fighting, I seen the fights the other day. I was like, all right.
That was beyond where we sit. Yeah, they don't.
No, I know it wasn't where you sit. I know that.
Well, KC don't sit at games no more. I don't know if y'all noticed.
I
It
do
wasn't.
sit,
It
but
wasn't the
sometimes I gotta go
sideline.
Michael Irvin.
It wasn't the sideline. I know. I saw that. So it wasn't you. You were safe.
Sometimes I gotta go Michael Irvin. Tonight, one of them nights, I gotta go Michael Irvin.
All
I gotta
right.
go.
You might want to clarify.
What did he do? He was cranking the hell out of that thing.
You might want
to. You never go full Michael Irvin, man.
Yeah, don't. You might want to clarify what you mean by going full Michael Irvin, man. Like I don't know. I don't know that you want that out there. And hey, we're like Bonte. We got sponsors to protect, man. Sky River, he did not mean that.
D-Lo, I was gonna let it go, and then he said it again, and then you got him. I was like, all right.
Hey, look on the Cowboys doc. I got to it a while ago, but him telling the story of how he stabbed the guy with the scissors. It's like, bro, you weren't okay. How a haircut situation turned into you stabbing somebody with some scissors?
Yeah, a haircut might do it. A haircut.
I mean,
gotta go.
I mean, in Mike's defense, we've all been there.
Yeah, what I'm gonna say.
We've needed that cut. We've needed that cut.
Mike,
yo, were you at the ring ceremony, the home opener, or the season opener?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I was not. Thankfully,
Okay.
I might have. Y'all might have seen me yelling at Buddy on the court.
What was the
for that foul, for the Chris Webber moment, for all that?
So, well, it's only a Chris Webber moment if they catch it.
Yo, shout out to Alfred Sengun was like, whoa, don't do that. We're out.
I'm not positive in this, but I'm pretty sure Sengun wanted to fight KD by the time that game was over. He had that timeout moment. But if you watch when KD bit on the pump fake and fouled him, Sengun immediately goes, "Oh."
He knew exactly what happened. He knew. I mean, they both did. So it was,
yeah, I like KD.
Open, but
I don't know why Sengun would want to fight KD. He kept letting him shoot the whole damn time. I said, KD, get the ball. You're Kevin Durant.
Great teammate. Yo, when I tell y'all, my phone been on fire for 4 days, and it's either why don't he shoot more, which is always the question. I get that every day. And number two, did you ask him about that timeout? I'm gonna tell y'all, I did not. I teased him about it, but I never got a straight answer about what that was.
What a game! That game was crazy.
That game was incredible.
It's been a great, it sounds weird to say 3 days into it, but it's been a great season already. It's been so dramatic for no reason.
On the court.
The games
so my question was, so if Chauncey bails out, technically he could still be on the clock. Now, obviously he's already replaced instantly, but couldn't he have bailed out quick enough and really try to coach today? That was my thing. But yeah, the NBA wasn't going for that. So where does one get an X-ray? I want to see the X-ray tables. I need to fully understand what that idea is to me.
When they showed in that video with the glasses where you could see the cards, that was I've never seen anything like that before.
Yo, because my thing is, I got an X-ray, I don't know, months ago. But when you get an X-ray, they put you in a whole lead vest, and then the tech leaves the room like a bomb's about to blow up.
Yeah.
Y'all just had one under the card table and was just doing that every couple of minutes. This is crazy. I need to see it. I want to see it in action.
That was insane. Just hearing, I didn't see the video, but just the talk of what they were doing is crazy.
You got to see the video. The video's crazy.
The words in the tweets, they talking about Cosa Nostra and Chauncey Billups, and I'm like, yo, this is straight out of Goodfellas. What do we between that and the Louvre getting robbed? What century are we in right now? It's like the 1950s right now.
Seeing La Cosa Nostra in a tweet that also contained Terry Rozier and Damon Jones was absolutely incredible.
I love that gambling has come this far in sports to where none of us were surprised. Nobody was like, wow. Everybody was like, no, I can kind of see that. If I thought about it a little bit, and then they got footage and they got all this stuff. There's always a tweet, you know what I mean? So Like we're just not even surprised anymore. This is not the first gambling ring in sports that we've seen. This isn't even the first NBA player that's probably gonna go to jail for a long time. This is like it's not new. This is crazy.
You
I'm
know
just
what? Oh, go ahead.
did you see the other name from
Which one?
Pablo?
Oh, okay.
Oh no,
KG,
bro.
Kevin Garnett.
Again,
What's the
were you
movie?
surprised? Were you
What's the movie?
surprised?
They said it was Operation Royal Flush.
Oh
that
my.
was that was the name of the sting for the poker ring thing.
Did you see
Oh.
Did you see the card player on his podcast? It was like, yo, I did a game with Chauncey Billups 2 years ago, and it was fixed, and just like talking about it for 3 minutes. I'm like, yo, so it's just known. Like this is just a thing that was happening and being talked about. Where was everybody hiding?
And look, the crazy thing is, have you heard like some of the names that got arrested as well? Like it's
It's a
real
dude
mafia.
named Quack Quack.
Yeah, Black Andy, Ice Cream
Yeah,
Ray, or something. Like it's like it's straight out of what's that? Is that Goodfellas where they start the movie by saying all the names? Those are all the people Chauncey Billups was in.
yeah.
Oh,
At the Coca Cabana, he was saying, "Yo, I love that this still exists. Like this is a thing I didn't know. I would have never known. Like I'm not in the mafia. I just assumed this was some movie stuff. But no, these dudes is just still doing this and
for
and
real.
bullying basketball players into getting in the mix with them.
That's crazy.
I,
Somebody,
I be wondering like how deep in was Chauncey Billups to where like he had to do this because he's got to be making 6 mil a year or something like. And that's not to say he can't gamble 6 mil, but he got to be deep in. It's like, all right, Chauncey, here's what you're gonna do because you owe us this much, and it
right.
worked. He did it.
That's crazy. Somebody. Matter of fact, it was Bill Simmons. I got to credit him with this one, but he brought up a good point about gambling, and he was, he's a gambling guy and all this other stuff. But he was like, when you talk about Terry Rozier, which might be like the line, it might be the line. Why do we have Jonte Porter unders that we can bet on? Like, why? Why we should never be able to say Jonte Porter or even Terry Rozier can fix the game by going under. The more or less or whatever, that should be reserved for the superstars. If you're not one of them, you could only bet on them scoring more. That's it.
Yo, they're betting on preseason. They're betting on like any sport they could pay for. Like it's crazy, bro. Like I don't know why you can bet on Jonte Porter. I watch a lot of NBA, and I feel like I'm 10%, not the 90th percentile fans. I would have had to Google Jonte Porter. Like I would have took me a second. Like, I was watching King Suns the other day. I had to Google like three dudes. I'm like, who are these people? And they playing good. Like where does God come from? It was like, yo, to be that in deep, to where it's like, yeah, I'm going with the Terry Rozier money. Like, you got to call the number at some point. At some point, you just like these dudes make discords and groups like they yelling at players of the game for one more rebound. It's a sickness, but it's like it's cool because if you mess around and win, you can post it on Instagram and you're the man. So it's nasty out here, man. Me personally, I don't gamble. It's like I got a friend in Sac who does like daily, and he's like, yeah, some days I'll lose like $800, but then the next day because I got a system, I'll win like 3,200. I'm like, bro, that day where I lose $800 would ruin my year. Like, are you serious? There's no reason to do this.
Do you think we see the end of player props?
No, hell no.
Really?
Like again, we have a player in prison right now, and it just kept on going. Like we had multiple NFL players get hit, and it just kept on going. It's getting worse. We're seeing it more. They're putting it on the court as you watch the game. We're putting uh, uh lounges where you can bet in arenas, and like we're getting more states that
Yeah.
can gamble. Like this is only going to get worse. Every bit of content you consume, like 99% of it about sports, there's a gambling sponsor somewhere. Your favorite podcast, your favorite game, your favorite TV show, all that stuff is at some point they're gonna tell you one of these sporting books is sponsoring that. And they're too in deep now. How can they get out? There's no way. The ESPN lets you bet on ESPN.com. And I know they took the little logo off the Chiron because they were talking about it, but that's not going to stop them from taking the money from the betting people.
Right. And but what actually did happen is probably what you want, because Vegas or whoever did said, yo, this don't look right. Like, I can understand if it was 200,000 on Steph, 200,000 on Terry Rozier. Call up Adam Silver right now. Something ain't right. And
No,
that's
that's a
kind of
great
what you
point.
want, right? Like, you
They're
want
not.
something look crazy, give somebody a call and notify them.
That's a great point. They're not cleaning it up so people stop gambling. They're cleaning it up so they can say, "Look, we're maintaining the integrity. Keep gambling, please." So that's a great point. I mean, it's not going nowhere. It's going to get worse. It's going to get more specific. It's in too deep. This is sports. Like we're 20 years ago, Chris Berman was the only one saying the line on TV. Now, like, everybody's saying it. Now you got players celebrating on benches very conspicuously because of what's going on. So
That
like
was
it's like this is fully ingrained in the sports experience. Somebody close to me, a couple people close to me work in these places, and like, you know what happens a lot too? It's kids gambling. It's kids in states where they could gamble using their mama's account or whomever, and they making parlays in ninth grade and eighth grade. Like they're doing that. So like this is part of sports now. There's no way out of it. It can't get so bad that they get out of it either. Like this is bad. This is a multinational ring of gambling, including a coach in Damon Jones, a player in Terry Rozier, and this is not the first one. And they played a bunch of games after. It's not stopping anything.
You think? Do you think Windhurst misspoke yesterday? Do you think the NBA was aware of what happened and tried to cover it up to a certain degree?
So I said this on my stream on playback. We talking about it yesterday. I don't know if he misspoke, but what I will say, and I'm not trying to defend the league, is the FBI can investigate in ways that the NBA can't. The NBA has a security force, they have an investigative force, but that's mostly like, we don't want you messing around when you're outside. We want to make sure you're safe when you go, that type of stuff. Every team has security, on and on and on. Can they tap your phones? Can they get subpoenas for your phone records and see what's what? Can they track your IP address? I don't know if they have all that within what they do. You know what I mean? But the FBI can. And you would imagine a lot of this stuff is happening on the phone. The Terry Rozier situation is on the phone saying, "Come get this money," and all that. So like, I don't feel like the NBA has some sense, but it's also not for the FBI to report it either. So I don't know what, Windhorst threw some names out there too, and like he seemed really giddy about this whole situation. I don't think the NBA would sweep this under the rug if they knew what it was. It's too big. It's gonna come out. FBI involved.
right.
Is there a concern around the league that some of their guys are gambling? For sure, for sure. And we've already seen Terry Rozier and Malik Beasley is a different situation, but we've already seen these situations where that happens. What can they do though? They can't throw him in jail. They can't. What Windhorst said that I thought was fascinating was when Terry Rozier supposedly faked the injury and then didn't play the rest of the season, he made it sound like the NBA sent him home. And I'm like, that's another like flagrant like crime, so to speak, in sports. If he faked the injury and the league knew it and said, you did this, you can't play no more. Um, I don't think the NBA is completely on the up and up with us. I'm not gonna go Jordan 96 conspiracy theory 95, but I don't know that they knew to the extent that the FBI did.
Yeah, and I wonder. I kind of agree with that. I think because they talked about it more last night. You talk about subpoenas, like the NBA can't get that, the FBI can. But I wonder if the NBA, because they said they took Terry Rozier's phone and they went through the phone, and common sense said, yeah, he's probably doing something, but they might not have had the hard evidence to discipline him in that situation. Like, you may see some stuff like, 50 Cent Kanan, like, yeah, he did that. You know what I mean? But that's doesn't work when you have a CBA and when you have a NBAPA and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe that's what happened with the NBA situation.
And as a Dateline connoisseur myself, There's a big difference between we got to look in your phone and you gave us your password because you can wipe that. And we can go through your records and we can see what you said to everybody because we talked to T-Mobile. There's a big difference between two things. Um, so yeah, like that's kind of where I'm at. Again, I'm not trying to defend the NBA or say they're the most trustworthy league there ever was, but I can't imagine they have, the full knowledge of everything that the FBI does.
You
If they
think?
did, oh, my bad, Dame.
I'm sorry, Casey. Go ahead.
Both of you guys, if they did though, and they did sweep it under the rug, Silver
Yeah,
can go.
that's where I was. That's where I was going. Is how much trouble, I guess there's probably a better word for it, is Adam Silver in if we determine that, yeah, maybe this is something they were aware of, and whether it's at the behest of the owners or not, someone's got to take a fall for it, and it ain't going to be Stan Kroenke. It ain't going to be Vivek Ranadive. It isn't going to be James Dolan. It's going to be Adam Silver. Well, I'm sure Kings fans would love that. Yeah, I'm sure Kings fans would be elated if they could find some way to point the finger at Vivek Ranadive.
For Terry Rozier.
Vivek was in the poker game.
That's my cynical thing is like, who else is here? And what level of player would the NBA turn the cheek? We make the Shohei Ohtani jokes, but same for that. Like, wouldn't it be easier for them to pass the buck or explain this in some way? I'll let y'all know because y'all go. If you go to Summer League, if you go to the Win or the Aria, 3 in the morning, that's where you're gonna see the NBA at. And you know what they're gonna be doing? Spending a lot of money gambling. Like this is part of the culture in a lot of ways of professional sports. And so, is there more guys doing this? There has to be dudes, whether it's parlays, whether it's whatever. Is there guys literally fixing games and trying to miss shots and stuff like that? I don't know, but once you throw in that little bit of temptation, to me, it's like steroids in baseball. If you tell a baseball player, I got the magic pill and it's gonna make you bigger, stronger, faster, you're gonna hit further. Not everybody's gonna go, I need it. But some dudes are gonna do that. And it's the same thing for this. Like, yeah, you tell 400 NBA players, y'all, here's that extra whatever, 5 mil. You just got to do this every now. You give them the blue chip speech. Not every player is going to do that, but it's going to be a couple. And that's what we're seeing now.
And it brings everything into question, right? Like it just brings everything that you see into question as a sports fan and an observer. I even thought about, I was driving in and I was thinking about, I don't know if you guys remember this, but 2 years ago, Sean McVay was playing the Niners. They were down 10 and they were like on the 43 or something like that, like in field goal range. It was a deep field goal, but they were in field goal range. They were down 10 with 2 seconds left, and he kicks a field goal. And everybody was like, why would he do that? Like, what are you doing? You lost by 7. So what? The spread, I think, was 7.5. And I remember people were like, nah, he wouldn't really. But now I'm thinking about that, right? I'm thinking about
how can you not? It's a segment on ESPN. It's a segment on SportsCenter to show us bad beats. And it's like, sometimes it's a silly coincidence and a college kid runs back a touchdown. He didn't need to run back. But sometimes it's like the Kings and Suns. It was Zach LaVine hits a 3 from a foot behind the line. The ref immediately says, nah, that's a 2. You can't review it. It never comes back up. And that's it. And you know what the spread was? 3.5.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that. And you just like, hey, what? Is there something more to it here? Like, is this something? And again, NBA is the league where a ref literally admitted to colluding with the mafia. So, like, at some point, I have to like not be completely blind and understand there's some silly stuff going on here.
He's back out there too, and he gonna hop back out there. I saw him this morning.
Oh, he waiting. He about to write another book, boy.
How did you feel about the way the Rockets looked on Wednesday?
I was real happy with how they look. I think the thing for this team is it's going to take a while. They're working in a very important part of their offense, and they're figuring out a new way to play with double bigs, with making Alfred Sengun the center of what they do and the hub of that, and then Amen Thompson playing point guard and almost creating all of their offense from the top of the key, which he just wasn't doing last year when you had Fred VanVleet. But when I watched the next 2 days of NBA basketball, the Thunder looked like monsters, and it took 2 overtimes and a lot of stuff to happen for the Rockets to finally lose to them. And one of those things was Amen getting hurt as well. I thought he looked great. You can see kind of the framework of what they want to be, but you can also see they have a long way to go. Kevin will ease himself in. He's letting the young guys do their thing, and he's picking his spots. I always want him to shoot more than 16 shots. Trust me, guys. But it's a long process. I like how strong the defense looked many times throughout the game. I like the variance of the lineups they were able to have. Tari Eason needs to be better. Reed Shepard needs to be better. Like they need to be better. They lost the game, but they look like the team that I thought they were going to be, and they're only going to get better as they get better chemistry, as they figure out exactly how they want to run offense with Kevin, exactly how they want to work the two-man game with Alfred Sengun. And Amen Thompson didn't get those reps. He was quiet to the fourth quarter, and he finally realized, like, yo, these dudes can't guard me. Had 2 clutch layups in a row. It's just gonna if they stay healthy, it's gonna continue to unfold for them, and they're gonna find more and more ways to attack than they knew they had on Tuesday.
I don't mean to just talk KD because you're with us, but I was watching that game on Tuesday, and the game just looked so easy, like one-on-one. It almost looked like Golden State again, where it was just I got one-on-one coverage all game long. I'm picking my spots, like you said, and when I get it, it's in great shooting places on the court for me, and I'm not missing. If that's the way it's going to be all year, that's going to be crazy for Houston.
Yeah, and it won't be Lou Dort every night either. It won't be Alex Caruso every night. It won't be Wiggins. It won't be those long arms that they have over there in OKC. So, it's gonna look better than other nights. Dort, I always say Dort's playing the wrong position, the wrong sport. He could have been he could have revolutionized the edge rush position, but he wants to do that out here. So
Drake Greenlaw ass.
bro, he need to be the Mike linebacker for the Raiders. We might have had a defense. But that's how he makes his bones in the league, and you got to salute after a while. But it's not going to be that every night. And I think tonight's going to be a great display of what they do against Detroit. You're not necessarily seeing that level of defense. I think you're seeing a decent team, but a different matchup. And again, it'll continue to unfold for them, and they'll continue to find more stuff for that offense.
It did look easy for KD. I'm really curious to see what Sengun looks like tonight.
Dude,
Sengun was in a bag I didn't know he had, and if that's him this year, we got problems.
Yeah, he's been on a roll. I mean, I thought he looked great last year in the playoffs, and there's bigs take a while historically. They take a little longer to develop, but he just looks like a guy who's figured out who he is in this league, figured out what his game is in this league, figured out how to attack in multiple ways. You can send your big at me, and I can go around him. You can send your small at me, and I'm gonna post him up and take my time and get it right. He hit some threes. He looks incredible, and having a weapon like Kevin, having a weapon like Amen, that only helps him look even better than he already is.
Yeah, they can win it all, man. They can win a title this year.
Yeah, I feel like we, again, not trying to be biased, but I feel like we watched 2 of the 4 best teams in the first game of the season, and NBA they doing their thing with that script. So we've seen a lot of great games. I thought last night, Warriors Nuggets, that was 2 really good teams. And you see Aaron Gordon doing what he's doing. Like it's the league kicking off really well. And football being so up and down, it's like I think this is what we needed. This night to night stuff we can look at.
They got football this week. Like they wiped football off the map this week. Me and Damien haven't talked football all week. Like they got football this week.
Man, and it's like even we joked about the off course stuff, but even you strip that away and just the excitement for the league to be back and to see some of these players and the Knicks run the Cavs off the court and the rookies look great. VJ Edgecombe looked incredible. We get Coop and it was all right, but you're looking at Wemby and it's like this might be the best player ever. Like we might be on that arc right now. It's just so much to like about the NBA right now.
Enjoy the game tonight, man.
I'm gonna try, man. Hopefully, the good guys win.
Don't yell at your boy too much from the court, man. We don't want to be. Hey, security, look at this. This man over here in the corner.
I like our chances tonight, so I think it'd be cool. But I mean, the mood here is great, and I think these guys understand what the mission is for this team. So I had to come out, celebrate the guy the first game of the season. So before we go, let's make sure we wish Drizzy Drake a happy birthday. He is 39 years old today. So
Happy
come
birthday. Look, happy birthday.
on. More life to the
More
boy.
life. October's very own. You know what it is, baby. OVO. Come on.
How can we forget?
You guys are stupid, man. Go watch basketball, Eddie. Nobody want
Have
to
a
hear
good
this.
one, guys.
All right, boy.
Yes, sir.